Get ready for it. Oh, and there it is. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, and welcome. And today's first has been redeemed by the one, the only, the imaginarily mysterious, the starchy blue feline herself, the azure of the cats, the spuddy spud. I'm losing my words today. Good afternoon. Welcome on in, Miss Blue Potato Cat. You are today's index. This party is for you. Let's get down. I know you're dancing already. I know exactly how you are. You are up on that table. That's right. You're dabbing right now. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sheesh. That's right. Let's go. Today's index is brought to you by the Blue Potato Cat. She hit that button before anybody else. She was here on time and totally sublime. She's out to make this all work right. She is today's index. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, and welcome. It is that time. That's right. It is a Talk Tuesday. Can you believe it? I can't. It's been another week. It's another fantastic guest. And today, yes, today, I am bringing to you fantastic people, the sexiest man on the interwebs, or at least one of them that I know. He's a fabulous, an amazing dear friend of mine I met from a nutty squirrel. He showed up in our world, paved the place, made it all look great. Dear friend of mine, first in every race, I am talking about, you know him, you love him. He's the man who can put the zombies to shame. He's the man that makes the women all quiver and go insane. That's right. We're talking about the man, the myth, the legend, the Brotherford. And I have got him waiting in the wings for you, lovely, fantastic people. And we are going to get to the lore, the background. That's right. We're going to get down and dirty. We're going to crawl through all the lovely histories of the Brotherford. And if you're ready for this, then I'm ready for this, and let's get this started. So we're going to unmute. We're going to get Brotherford right in this call. Are you ready for him? Because here he comes. I present to you today's Talk Tuesday guest. That's right, the Brotherford. Welcome in, Brotherford. Welcome in. You are live on Talk Tuesday.
Welcome and hi, everybody. Look, I'm out during the daylight. What happened?
Ooh. All right. So we hit this little.
uh, let's try the wave again. Everybody can see me waving this time. Yes, it's a daylight, brother Fjord. And that is, I guess, the first topic we can cover if you want. Why it says the Brotherford in the title. Yeah, it hooks in the new one, which is fine because this was going to be the reveal. This is Well, it definitely got spoiled for, one nerdisms last night, and, because I could not keep my mouth shut because I mod for Nerd, and with Nerd streams, it's just impossible not to get snarky with the way she plays. So, I couldn't hold back. She got to see the new name, and she was ecstatic. Uh-oh, we're not hearing a Nori.
Sorry about that. Now, fighting with the game server right now. There we go.
Oh, okay. I see.
you know.
But yeah,
So you
so
spoiled it for
spoiled it
for nerd, huh? Mm.
There was a few other people who were in the know. Obviously,
Wow.
you learned about it on Sunday. Uh,
I am so totally failing on this. Keep talking. You're fine. I've got some
okay.
things I have to fix up because I'm like, oh yeah, because I was in such a rush because work ran over
Yeah,
today.
you too
You
have
are not.
G Frankie. um,
That's all right. That's all right. I don't
yes.
think you have anything other than a Twitch link, do you?
Oh, it's an O right now, not a U anymore. It's brother. The
Oh,
brother.
yep.
Right now, right. It is just a Twitch link because I
Yeah.
am rebuilding my socials. When you want my socials, you're gonna have to check my page.
There you go.
I'm kind of just
Aha,
rebranding to
it's
get
been
away from
uploaded.
the. There we go. Yeah, we're so the original name, the Brotherford, was
Right.
actually settled upon back in 2012. Um, I used to work for Blue Cross Blue Shield, and one of my good buddies I worked with there, we were both talking about getting into Twitch, and we were kind of spitballing names, and he dropped the Brotherford. He's like, "That's great because it's part of your name, but also it's like you're a bro, you're the Brotherford." And so I rolled with that, and I kind of went with it. It worked for a while, and then Peridot and I both are very active in internet stuff. Period. She's been a personality on the internet long before I was on Twitch, and recently we're like, maybe it's not a good idea to dox myself with my username. So we decided to change it up. And for ease of use, everybody used to refer to me as Brotherford anyways. They can still refer to me as Brotherford with the new name, but it is now Brother Fjord. And for some background on Brother Fjord, when I go into
You
Nerd,
realize what you've done is you've given me a new name to call you by. I am going to start
I have
dropping the brother, and you are now going to just be the fjord.
the Fjord. That's perfect. I'm okay with that.
The
I will
fjord.
be I will be a water crossing. That's okay.
Hi, I'm Keisha. We're happy to have you here. Yes, one of the two sexiest men on the interwebs. We got the
Yes.
brother Fjord this week, and then we have Mr. Waggleton next week. So the internet
Well,
is going to be on fire.
I'm looking forward to the Waggleton interview. I 100% am. Um, but the Brother Fjord was actually partially a creation of Nerdisms because jokingly I would call Nerdisms Nerdisms with a J after the N, and she called me Brother Fjord once or twice, and then it just kind of stuck. And when we were trying to come up with a new name, um, she had mentioned why not just use that. Everybody loved it, and Peridot was like, "That's perfect. That's just perfect."
Right.
So,
So you are the brother water crossing. Got it.
yes. I am a brother of water crossings. You can fjord my river any day.
Ooh, I'll be certain to line up.
Well, it might be the queue might be small, just saying.
That's all right.
Ah,
That's all right. So okay. So we I'm excited for
excited
Fjord.
for fjord. I don't think they're gonna get old. They're gonna stick around for a while, and I may even tie them into the channel somehow.
Well, this particular fjord is deep and wide, and we are looking to dam him up tonight.
Oh my goodness. To quote a Zodicus. And yeah, Keisha, the actual idea of it was to take it kind of Nordic, which is why
uh,
everybody loved it because Valheim was one of the big things that I got known for early on.
well,
So
Valheim is where we met at.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly. That's where I met a
Technically,
lot of you at.
technically, Valheim is we met Squirrel,
Well,
and
yeah,
Squirrel introduced us to you. So
true.
to be
Very true.
fair, we met you through a Swift Squirrel. We met Swift Squirrel through Mr. Wags, and I
This is
remember
true.
showing up in your stream the first time, being like, "Yo, Squirrel told me to come over here and say hi to you." And by the way, we're doing this.
And I remember the
And
moment you told me Swiss World was going to be there, I was down to go.
yeah, well, you were like, "Well, that's nice and all." I'm like, "Yeah, but we got a Swifty squirrel going," and you're like, "Wait, you got a squirrel? Sold." Like
Right.
I couldn't have got you in on the den. Let's
You
go,
could have
Twitch
sold it.
Hellspawn. Now
You could have
you
sold me.
you were very hesitant. You were like, you didn't know me from Adam, and that's fair. You
Yeah.
really didn't. I just some kind of lunatic guy who showed up in your chat, started talking to you about joining a server full of crazy people doing
Server
Valheim.
full of people I've never met before. It was, look, we're gonna build this server. It's gonna be on Valheim. There's gonna be about 20 people here, and you know one.
one, but it happened to be the right one for you. So,
It did.
hi, it is a Sandy Visions. Yes, Sandy, he is here. He is waiting for everybody's deep, dark questions.
Yes.
He is.
And you
He has been
mentioned,
dreading
oh,
this
you
day for a while
uh,
now.
kind of, yeah. I was actually just telling, Miss Wars before we went live that my nerves are going wild right now. So that's I don't do public speaking very well in a forum like
Well,
this. Doing my own stream, that's one thing, but the interaction like this, oh my
this
god.
is no different than sitting down uh, any other day within Discord around here. We're just sitting around, we're just chatting. The
That's
the
true.
nice thing is that there's questions and you're just being asked directed questions. Like today, the spotlight is solely on you. Like
Yeah.
you're who we're talking about today. It doesn't matter. Um, and we're just getting to know the fabulous Brotherford just that much better.
Yes.
And
And
you've made a lot of friends over the last, at least since I've known you. Your channel's been growing. You've made a lot more friends. You have a lot of people that
are
come
they
and hang out with you.
are they friends or are
Um,
they secretly enemies plotting my demise?
uh, that's for you to decide, not for me.
Mm. I think that's for them to decide. I mean, so
I mean,
far of the oh, and what I'm about to reference, I see in chat. Of the Kiss Mary Kill, I have yet to be killed. So maybe they're not plotting my demise. Maybe they're plotting to take all my internet sexiest man riches.
they're out to get you. That's for certain.
Sorry, it's been a long day at work and I am dehydrated, so I will be
Oh,
stopping
you're
for water
fine.
quite a bit.
Drink to your heart's content. For those of you interested, exclamation puzzle will get you a link into the puzzle. There is a redeem for one solid little channel point in there that will get you a question on the list to ask the Brotherford, whatever it is that you're looking to ask the man. Don't worry, we promise we'll give you the total uncensored play-by-play.
Um, this this isn't my OF page, my
Okay,
Twitch page.
you had to bring that up. I have to go off on a little bit of a tangent real quick.
Please do.
Because
Please do.
a couple of days ago, I started floating around this. I've got a dark secret, right? I started an OF account, and you can
Oh,
go there and see all of the most provocative pictures you can handle. It is wall to wall pictures of computers with their cases slightly ajar, showing off all those
oh,
central connections.
gotta love that cable porn.
I actually, so okay, to me this was a joke, right? I was
Right.
just playing up a joke on this. I actually have people that are upset at me. They're like, "Where's his OnlyFans? I've got to go to subscribe to this. I need this computer smut in my life." I'm like, "Wait, the,
It's
not,
funny you mentioned that.
not certain how to handle this one."
Yeah. So there's a content creator both Peridot and I follow. It's funny you mentioned doing the computer cases like that because she's a very attractive woman, young, beautiful fit, whole nine yards. And
Mhm.
everybody's like, where's your OF? Drop the link, drop the link, drop the link. So she made an OF, but it's not of her. She's a goth girl who drives a hearse, and the OF is dedicated to the hearse and only the hearse.
There you
And she's got like 90 to 100 and something subscribers. People pay to see the pictures of the hearse.
go. There's just something not right with the internet.
It's hilarious. But then
uh,
people get mad at her for not posting, nudes or lewds. And she's like, it says in the description, this page is dedicated to the hearse and the hearse only.
yep. Yep. All right. So we have a couple of quick. We have one more question we need to get out of the way, right?
Okay.
And then since we have some overseas people that are currently asking questions, I want to
Yes.
make certain that their questions get answered before they disappear, as
Let it,
we try
let's
to do
show
around here.
some love to those individuals first. That is fine.
Absolutely. So, we got the backstory on the name, which is fantastic. I think that's
Yes.
Good. Most people are like, there's not really much to tell about it. There's always a story to tell.
Yeah.
What got you into streaming? Like, what started you off? Why did you turn on the stream one day and go, I'm playing Resident Evil, I'm playing Valheim, I'm getting together with some bunch of lunatics, and we're going to make ourselves look like complete idiots on the World Wide
So
Web?
again, my stream journey started back in 2012.
Yes,
Um,
I got that.
yeah, once me and my buddy decided on a name, and in the end, he didn't start streaming. He gave up. I am the one who committed. I'm the one who did it. Um, and what started it all is we did a very boring job at Blue Cross Blue Shield. Both of us were in a position called refund adjudication, which is literally, and I
Ooh,
mean this, literally
ooh.
looking at bills and deciding who's supposed to get the money from Blue Cross. That's all we did day in and day out. It's, pardon the language, fucking boring.
No,
So
you're fine.
we
This over 18 channel. You're just fine.
good. Okay. So we was like, we've got to do something to break up this monotony during the day at work. And I had mentioned to him a website called JTV, which at the time it was no longer JTV. I did not know that it had changed from JTV to Twitch.tv. And then I discovered Twitch, and I'm like, oh, this is the same thing because here's the creators I used to watch on JTV, and I introduced him to a buddy of mine who is also a streamer. He's actually a very prolific streamer on the platform called Excessive Profanity. Um, so we would lurk an Excessive Profanity stream during the day at work, and that's when he had the idea of me starting a stream, and and it was because excessive profanity and I play a lot of the same games. Like it started with Soulsborne's franchise, so Dark Souls, Demon Souls,
Right.
Bloodborne, all that. And my buddy at the time had seen me play, and he knew I was. He's like, and I quote, "So I think you're better than this streamer. So why don't you just start streaming?" And so my first ever stream was the day Bloodborne came out on PS4. I fired up stream as the Brotherford and did a 5-hour playthrough of the beginning of Bloodborne. And from that day on, Monday through Friday, I streamed 5 days a week from 6 p.m. to midnight playing Bloodborne. And then I did that for a year, about a
Right.
year, I think. And then I had some family stuff come up. My father passed away, and
I'm sorry.
that that kind of put a stop to everything I was doing.
But yeah,
And
real
I
life
didn't.
will derail.
Yeah. Oh hell yeah. I didn't pick Twitch back up even as a viewer until 2019, um, when Sir Bearded Waffle and I got together and started a D&D campaign with a bunch of our friends, and we were playing D&D through Roll20, and we were doing it through Discord, and he would stream it every Monday. We were doing 4 to midnight, or no, 5 to midnight, and we would just stream us playing D&D. We all had our cameras on. He had our cameras next to our character tile logos or whatever,
Right.
and we would role play and have fun. That's where my first Baldur's Gate 3 character on our playthrough that ended rather tragically was a recreation of the dwarf barbarian I played in that D&D campaign. Um, rest in peace, Ryan Carl. Um,
Yeah, to be fair, we've had a number of characters that just turned up
we
dead.
have, we have.
Never.
Um, but I saw
Worse.
I was having so much fun interacting with his chat that I just got back into streaming, and I found my old account and it was still active and it still had followers, and I fired it back up, and some of those followers popped in. They're like, "Oh my god, you're still alive!" And honestly, from week one, I saw those followers regularly, and then they all disappeared, and I started seeing new people show up, and I haven't stopped since. So,
Been
starting
enjoying
back
it.
into streaming, it's been the best thing to happen to me since, honestly, since Peridot. Um, my mental health. I am a big advocate for mental health, as my stream has shown. And since starting streaming and meeting this community, my mental health has been through the roof. I could not thank all of you enough for breaking the bonds of my depression the way you have.
There you go. F them kids. I am certain that is an inside joke that we will come back around to. Okay.
Oh man.
So Miss Visions asked your first questions.
Okay.
She would like to know kiss, marry, kill the
Oh, I knew this
regime.
was gonna be. I knew this was going to be on the questions, and I did not expect it to be the first. And that's a very, very difficult one. Oh, hey, I see some of my new emotes out there. Look at you, Squirrel. I see you. Um, but yeah, no, good grief. Kiss, marry, kill the regime. Oh,
you,
can't I
you
just
didn't
marry all of you?
you,
Is
you
that
didn't
an
think your
option?
fan club was going to make it easy on you, did
No, I didn't. But like, can't I
you?
just marry all three of them? It's fine, right? It's fine.
I don't think that's one of the options. I think you're allowed to marry one of them.
I
But
know.
I don't think you're allowed all three of
Ah, man.
them.
It's the kill. It's the kill that makes it difficult. Um, the marry is actually the easy one. Marry is flat out, hands down, the easiest. It's a Miss Sandy Visions because a marriage with me guarantees her dual citizenship. So the first part of that is Miss Sandy Visions with the marriage, but it's the last two. Oh man, they're all three just wonderful people. Like,
Oh, they're fantastic.
God, I couldn't see myself killing a single one of them. But but if I had to kill one, and this death battle kiss the winner, um, this comes purely from mutual interest on gaming. So don't hurt me. I'm sorry, Safi. Safi, you've got to die. And I will be kissing Salty Snacks because Miss Salty and I have so many crossover interests in so many different games and game genres. So, definitive answer, kiss Salty, marry Sandy, kill Safi.
I'll be honest with you. I don't think that she's going to mind that much.
I doubt it, but it works. It still, I still feel terrible saying it. Still feel terrible saying it. But if the green card weren't if the green card were not
No
a part
weeb.
of the factor, um, Safi and Sandy would probably be reversed. I'm sorry. I'm a very pragmatic person. I have to think things through.
Oh, I. It's fine. It's fine.
But yeah, there's so you get a two-part answer to that. If I weren't
Uh,
doing Sandy a favor by giving citizenship, Sandy would die.
okay. So, next question from Miss Sandy Visions is favorite game that you have played so far?
Oh shit. Um,
See, I like this question a little better because this is not asking you about what you think is your, like favorite game in a genre or anything else. This one's very specific to a game that you've actually played, not looked at,
mhm.
and that
And I've
you've.
played a lot of games.
Yes, but I mean, let's be honest, right? There are those games that you're like, yeah, I would go back and play that one on a heartbeat over and over and over again because.
I've done that to so many games though. So many games. Oh gosh, wars. There's a story behind that one too. There's a story behind that comment. Um, oh man. So in this moment, favorite game I've played, it's a toss-up
Mhm.
between the classic PlayStation release of Final Fantasy VII, uh, or the entirety of Final Fantasy 14. Not so much the online aspect, but the story aspect from the original release that nearly killed Square Enix as a developer through the most recent expansion, because I've played it all. And if I had to choose one, it would be Final Fantasy VII, because that game is the reason I'm still a gamer to this day.
Well, there you go. Yeah, my understanding is you actually were uh, hooked into this community because of that game well before uh, your introduction to a Swift Squirrel.
Yeah,
Though it was kind of a side thing. It wasn't like
yeah. It was
you actually knew it, but it
yeah.
was an interesting sort of collision that happened. My
It was
understanding
a
is the way that goes.
that collision was I yeah. I met Squirrel not directly, but indirectly, and it was yeah. And of course, after the indirect meet, it was I was playing Final Fantasy 14 probably when Squirrel popped up in my channel one of the first few times.
Now, all that being said, I will say one of my favorite things that has happened so far in my interactions with you is the time we were all sitting down in Squirrel's gonna hate me for this one, but I don't care. Um we were all sitting down in Discord and talking about who was coming to play in that first season of Denmark and listening to the two of you complete fanboy fangirl over each other. It was freaking hysterical.
I have no memory of this place. I'm sorry. I can't keep a straight face. It's yes, it happened. It happened.
It was
I can't
fantastic.
I can't say for sure on the Squirrel side because I didn't hear it. I wasn't there, but I
I
will honestly
was
admit yes.
she eeped in my ear. I'm like, yeah, so Brotherford's coming. Brotherford's coming. Eee.
See, I figured Squirrel. I figured he was telling the truth, and I did like it was very much I was a fanboy over it. I'm like, "Oh god, I'm playing Squirrel." It's like in my head at the time, you were like a popular streamer. You know, you had so many more people in your channel than I did. You were more popular than me, so the excitement of playing with such an awesome person, somebody who's just so chill and fun, just yeah, I was over the moon, man.
All right. We still have some more over the ocean questions we need to take care of.
Yep.
Let's see. Miss Amikisha asked, when are you coming to Sweden?
Oh wow. Well, before I go to Sweden, I have to go to New York first, to see Squirrel's digs because I hear all about them from her through her home improvement updates. Uh, so I have to actually see Squirrel's house, um, and see the town because I showed Squirrel my town. Um, as far as man, I'd love to go to Sweden, and Miss Emakisha, just so you know, it won't be just me. You're gonna have to deal with me and Peridot. We are quite the duo. Um, I don't know. Hopefully, sometime in the next few years.
I will definitely say that is a very factual statement. They are quite the power couple.
I would definitely hope to do so in the next 2 years because Sweden is on the short list of places I would like to visit before I die. And as we all know, I am well over 30, so it is a ticking time bomb, according to Salty Snacks.
Fairness,
I
also,
should be
we're
dead
already
already.
dead. Yeah, I was going
Yeah,
to say, you're already dead. You're pushing up days.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm a zombie at this point.
Welcome
Do
to
they
the
even let
grave, right?
zombies on planes anymore? I don't know.
You got to check your teeth at the door, but I mean, it's fine.
Yeah,
It's fine.
they are a
Miss
deadly weapon,
Drinkabell
definitely.
asks, "What is a game you wish you had never bothered playing?"
See, I saw that question pop up in chat and Drink a Bell. I have 100% definitive answer on that, and many of you will probably never have heard of it. So backstory on it: I got an invite to be a play tester for this action MMO that came out. It's actually out there now, called Big Time, and
Heard it,
I
played it,
wish
hated it.
I wish I did not say yes to that email. I wish I had just ignored it and never even looked at the game because it was terrible. The game mechanics are atrocious. The uh, economy, the monetary economy of the game is just so broken, and the game's visuals gave so many people motion sickness, myself included, that I'm surprised it is still out there.
Sorry, I'm left. So Wars' comment: New York, Sweden, Australia, according to Nori, has massive bugs because I was doing a little Helldiver last night with Zoda, and we were exterminating a planet where I was commentating on the fact that, hey, look, the bugs here, you know,
Oh, yeah.
it's like visiting Australia. It's fine.
Yeah, no, my plan is to go to Australia. I have a couple people to visit in Australia, excessive profanity included. But I know that when I go to Australia, I need to make sure I've got my Helldiver armor, my SG 225 breaker shotgun, and a flamethrower, so that way I'm covered.
Exactly. Exactly.
And we cannot
Uh,
forget the 500K stratagem.
uh,
I don't know how well Australia will take to me using that stratagem on their soil, but I'm
you mean
sure
five? No, no,
they'll.
no. We don't need 500. 120 is just fine. I promise.
Either way, I don't think they'll be too happy, but I'm sure the U.S. government, yeah, we'll smooth it over.
uh, if you had to choose one series to play forever, what would it be?
Um, fuck, one series to play forever. Uh, Probably Final Fantasy, because as we've now learned, even at 16, there is no final to that fantasy.
Good God, no. I don't know if they ever have any plans of actually stopping it either.
They don't. Yoshida-san, the current development lead over Final Fantasy 16 and 14, has plans for, at the very least, 3 more mainline games and 4 more expansions to 14. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah, no. I would say I'm surprised, but I'm not really. As far as games goes, Legend of Zelda, Mega Man are huge,
Those
huge
are
franchises.
also top of my list. They fall under Final Fantasy, obviously, but those were on the short list of answers.
Oh, I have seriously considered trying to get back into my old speedrunning days with Mega Man, and
I can't do
get back.
speedrunning. I'm too much of a loot goblin.
Oh, I love. But so that was always the nice thing about Mega Man, right? You could speedrun Mega Man because there wasn't, if you weren't hurt, there was nothing to go back and pick up. If
That's
never
true.
used any
Yeah.
weapon and you hadn't lost anything, the only thing that you would stop for are the extra man and the energy tanks. And since you're in a speed run, the idea is to get all the way through one shot anyway. So you look at it as a challenge. You don't pick up the extra man, you don't pick up the E tanks because you don't need them.
Yeah, well, unless you're talking Mega Man X, because Mega Man X, you also have the armor upgrades.
Yeah, you wouldn't need those either in a speed run though.
That's true.
It's
Well,
like
okay.
people going out there and doing these rune level 1 in Elden Ring. right?
Yeah, that I've seen some of those playthroughs, and those are insane.
Which those are
Uh,
horrendous. I have no
yes,
intentions of ever doing that myself, but
me neither. I've done some challenge mode stuff with Dark Souls, and never again. I prefer to just actually enjoy the game, which is why I can't get into speedrunning as well.
speaking
If I were to speedrun a game, it'd probably be a Metroid game, actually.
speaking of Elden Ring, are you excited for the DLC coming out?
Yes, I am. I still need to beat Elden Ring, but I am excited for it. Yes, Shadows of the Erd Tree. I watched the trailer, and it just,
Yep.
oh god, it looks amazing.
I'm hoping it doesn't break co-op, the seamless co-op mod, because that would be fantastic to run through
Yes,
with
and
a
one
group of people.
it, the modding community for Dark Souls and the Souls games, they're on top of it. So I can't see where it would end up breaking it at all. They'll probably get a hold of the DAT files the moment they're pushed for the early download. Like it's like 2 days before the DLC usually drops, and they'll probably start working on patching for the mod.
You'd be surprised how long it actually takes to get some of these mods to work correctly. But
I think the seamless co-op for Dark Souls 3, it took them 2 weeks, but they did actually manage to get it to work.
mhm. Oh, I'm not saying they can't get it to work. I'm
Yeah.
just saying I'm not
Well, it just takes
expecting
time.
it
Yeah.
to be like overnight, and I don't think
Uh,
anybody should.
Kind of off topic. I want to apologize to everybody who's doing the puzzle because there is so much black space in that image. I am sorry.
It's actually not that hard. So I've done puzzles that are like pure white, end to end pure white, solid one solid color. It doesn't really phase me that much. The trick is you do exactly like what you're doing now. You're like, okay, that
Yeah.
doesn't work, so you just grab the next piece, and you end up making little piles of what pieces don't fit.
Mm.
And you're like, okay,
I'm just watching whoever's going through it right now, and it's I'm
well,
impressed.
if you're watching on the screen, that's me.
Okay.
This is a stream, so I can only show you the puzzle from one perspective. That's mine.
That's true. And Swift's got a point. Remember, Nori, not hard for me, not just not hard. Different folks struggle with different things.
Different strokes for different folks. It's fine. It's fine. Yours
But
is
if
the
this
first
puzzle
logo that we've put up here in the puzzle to do. Um,
and that wasn't so much a logo as a possible T-shirt design. So if it gets finished, people may get an early reveal of a T-shirt design too.
well, so the sad part is it doesn't matter because there's a preview button up there, and if they hit it, then it shows them the completed puzzle anyways. So
Well, that's just bonkers. Why would you do that?
because it's like getting a puzzle box, right? You can always
I
see what
know,
the puzzle looks like on the outside of the box.
I know, I know, I
And team meeting in 10 minutes. Oh, I'm sorry, Wars.
know.
Let's
Wars
see.
is
Next
terrible.
question. We did that one. We did those ones. We did from drink. Okay. So Miss Blue Potato Cat says, "Can we see da baby?"
Maybe not in this moment because I honestly have no idea where he is. But when he comes to say hello to me, I will definitely show him off.
I am
He has
assuming
not come to see me.
by that you are referring to Grayson,
Yes, he has not come to say hello to me after getting home from work. But to be fair,
your ward.
I yeah, to be fair, when I got home from work, I went from kitchen to desk, so there was no opportunity for him to actually see me, only hear me, and when he hears me, he doesn't care. He has to see me.
Well, there you go. There you go. Let's see. Done that one. Miss Potato Cat would like to request your permission to swipe your shoes.
Depends on which pair. Um, I do have multiple pairs. So tentatively, yes, you may.
I think that you're the first person that's ever given her permission to come in and swipe their shoes.
Well, I'm a very generous individual. Plus, how could I deny the one and only cerulean starchy kitten my shoes?
Oh, it was very easy. I told her no. And then I told her it do be like that.
It
And she
do be
yells
like
at me.
that.
And then I remind her it don't have to be. And she yells at me some more.
Yeah. And you know, usually her yells are a pretty clean feckin' squeak.
They are a clean fucking squeak. A lovely, obliging guy, right? Right? Exactly, brain check. Exactly. Um. uh,
Man.
Lieutenant Zam would like to know what's one of your most memorable moments from streaming.
Man, I actually have quite a few. Um, one of the one that stands out, but I wouldn't say most memorable, is when I was playing. I think I was playing Resident Evil 4, classic Resident Evil. No, it wasn't the classic; it was the remake. And my family and Sidrum and Bearded Waffle and everybody, after doing the profanity redeem, were trying their hardest to scare the shit out of me and make me cuss. And it was within the last like 2 minutes of the timer that Sidrum got me with the screamer redeem because it was a very intense moment in the game, and it was the squeakiest, loudest fuck I have ever yelled.
Oh, I
And then
know.
it
I
hit
remember
me.
that wasn't Bearded Waffle. That was mine.
Was that yours?
That was
So I couldn't
mine.
remember who get it, but
Because I
I
felt
remember
I
just
well that was a bit cost. I'm like, I wonder what this one is. Ting. I'm like, cool. Here you go. I have 25 cents. Here's a quarter. Scream. And that thing yelled, and you were like, oh my god! Drop the controller, and
yeah. And
I
I
felt so
also
bad
remember
too.
the bean that came out of it was just terrible. So there's that one. And there's I think
You've got a real love for those beans. I'm gonna say that right now.
I have no love for those beans, Nori. No. There's
Are you
no
sure?
love
Because
for
you
jelly
keep
beans
putting
at
them
all.
in your mouth. I'm just saying.
Well, I'm an entertainer. I gotta keep the entertainment live. Um, mm, Most memorable moment was a recent, well, not recent actually, because we've been at Baldur's Gate 3 for a while. Um, the rune powder keg incident. That one comes back to me. Literally, I will be sitting here mind blank, just doom scrolling Twitter, and that moment will come back to me out of nowhere, where I'm just sitting in the middle of the fight and suddenly, boom, I'm flying across the room and everything around me is dead, including me.
I So there's a clip of that on my channel, and I laugh like a maniac every time. I still laugh like a maniac, just thinking back to that moment. That it'll be fine. Just blow it. They'll be dead. We'll survive. It's a game changer. We'll win. It's
And
okay. You're like,
everybody
I
was
think,
fine.
and just before it goes off, you can hear you say, I think I'm out of range.
Hmm. And I was not indeed out of range. I was well within range and well within rights as dead after that moment.
It was so funny.
That is, yeah, that is a memorable one that pops up. And if we have to talk about memorable ones with Zam, you know the one that's memorable with you because it was when we were playing Backrooms and we had to jump from the 80th floor because we all screamed as we were falling down. And I think there's a clip of it out there somewhere where you just hear everybody's screaming as they pass by Zam, and all you hear is me going, "Ah!" on the way down.
Uh, that would be a fantastic clip to get my hands
I actually have the raw clip. I don't just have the Twitch clip. I have the raw clip too,
on.
because of Zam.
uh,
Yeah, that was a good night. Well, that was actually when I had I think I had COVID, and I thought it was a sinus infection, and it obviously turned out to be COVID.
COVID was not fun. It
No,
was
it was
not a
not.
good time.
Uh, 10 out of 10. Do not recommend.
Okay, so for me, my COVID experience was I never caught it. Or if I did caught it, I was asymptomatic and so never experienced any issues.
I was symptomatic for it felt like a month, if not longer, and felt like death for a week. So no thanks. Never again. I hear somebody coughing and I'm holding up the rosary saying devil be gone, and I'm not religious.
I'm not bragging. Understand, it is the most irritating thing for me, right? Everybody else around me gets sick, lay out of work, can't work. I'm not feeling sick or whatever. I'm still going to work every day. Like truly, honestly, I'm like, I don't mind being sick because when I'm sick, I usually just goes lay down and I get to sleep. So for me, getting sick, it just means I get to stay in bed and sleep. So I'm all for getting sick because then I can just sleep away my day. Wars, take care.
Take care, Wars, and hopefully the meeting is not too stressful or taxing.
Right, right.
And Zoda, thank you. I told you you wouldn't have to call me anything different. It's just a little different. Just a little.
just a little. It's fine. He's now the brother fjord.
I am.
That's a river we're looking to sail up.
Well then, oh my.
Miss Swift Squirrel says expenses no object, work no object. If you could go anywhere in the world right now, where would you go?
Japan.
Why?
Easy answer. I love the culture. 100% love the culture. Love the culture, the people, the respect. Just it's. I could feel at home there, 100%. And it is the one location when it comes to travel, if I'm not traveling to see people, Japan is the one place I would go first. Then Ireland, then Scotland, and then the list goes on. But Japan would be, yeah, that's the answer to that question.
Anywhere in specific in Japan that you would go?
First Okinawa, because Okinawa has a 6-story arcade that I would love to visit, with some very classic arcade machines all the way up through some like very modern ones, and they're kind of uh, categorized by floor, what type of arcade machines on each floor. It's a buddy of mine who was in the military on the military base outside of Okinawa sent me pictures, and it's just I would love to be there. I would die happy there probably. But then after Okinawa, I would love to. My next stop would be the Shinjuku Prefecture.
I'd
Just
go to
because of the
Hokkaido.
scenery. Hokkaido is actually it's in my top 5. It'd probably be Hokkaido then Tokyo, because I'd want to go to the busiest place last.
I wouldn't go to Tokyo. I don't. I don't. I would. What is the name of that place? There is a spot spot I would go that is super busy, but for the most part, I would spend more of my time out. I would be honestly be looking for the hot springs.
Yeah, see, that's the thing is I don't know that I'd ever actually make it to Tokyo because I'd love to visit some of the countryside too. See some of the smaller tucked away villages, the hot springs in the mountains, the just
Right?
I'll even just go into some of the rice paddies, you know, just traveling those little villages that are built around the old rice paddies and just seeing all that beautiful countryside and the unspoiled nature of it all.
Like the one place I think that I would go that would be really busy would be Akihabara.
Mm, it's a good one too.
That would be the busiest place I would go, and I would go there just because, well, it's the anime capital. I mean,
Yeah, it's actually funny. The Japanese teacher I had um, is from there, so yeah, it'd be a lot of fun. Toshi-san would be very happy if I showed up there, and I have to be careful not to say his name 3 times, or he might just poof and appear behind me. He's like a genie.
he's a genie in a bottle.
Not quite in a bottle, but yeah. The joke amongst everybody who's ever taken his class is if you say his name 3 times fast, he may just appear in a poof of smoke right behind you.
Ninja. Uh, no, that's I want to stay at a little country ryokan, right? There's nothing wrong with that.
Yes. And of course, if I went to
Nothing wrong.
Japan, Peridot would be with me, and I would probably only see maybe 2 of the destinations I want to go to, which is fine because I would be happy with any destination.
I worked with a gentleman that took him and his wife, and they went to Japan. This was 10 years ago now. As a honeymoon. They
Mm,
took and spent like I think it was they spent like 2 weeks to a month out there. Had a blast. Came back with some amazing pictures.
yeah.
The touristy things that you can do in Japan is like they've got a serious tourist trade going on over there.
Yes, they do. And a lot of it isn't even just about like hitting touristy hotspots either. A lot of it is seeing the culture, seeing just the country. And
Yep.
that I think that's kind of rare in today's world. It's when it comes to travel and tourism, it's all about hitting those hotspots.
Eh,
Japan's just like, look at what we have to offer, not just the hotspots.
I want the square watermelons. That's
You know, I've looked at importing those, and the cost is insane. It's like a $200 watermelon.
oh yeah, they're expensive, but the shipping package is on. They ship easily.
Well, yeah, because they're square. That's the point. And now, actually, Japan's got pear farms that once the pear starts to develop as a fruit, they put a little plastic enclosure on it, and they can do like anime faces or skulls or whatever.
Yep.
Once it's fully ripe, that it just looks like that.
Well, I think once any culture, there's a certain level, right, of civilization. That's not really the word. Technologically advancement. It's not really the word I'm looking for either. I'm going to say maturity. It's not the right word, but we're just going to call it the right word for right now because I can't think of the word I'm looking for here. But there's a certain state that a culture gets to, and at that point, uh, artistry takes over, and
Mm,
that's America has it, Japan has it, European Britain has it, France has it, like the world in general in most of the more technologically advanced portions of the world um, are at that point where it's not so much okay to just make a sandwich. Now we're doing sandwiches with faces on it. You've got coffee. You can go buy
yeah.
posh coffee somewhere and get a face in the cream. It's like there's no real reason for it. It
Hey,
doesn't make it taste any better, but it's pretty.
latte art, yeah,
Yep.
the foam art on lattes, like,
Yep.
There's a actually in Japan, there is a coffee shop that will do a portrait of the person who ordered the coffee in the foam.
Yep. Well, there's actual machines that are made to print that that
Yeah,
latte art out on top of the foam. But yeah, that's the thing. We've like you've reached a point where you don't need to. It's no longer about nourishing to survive or anything else. Now it's you're doing this because it's pretty. Um,
right. And why? I mean, if it's pretty, why not do it? You know?
there's a lot of reasons why not to do it if just because it's pretty.
Yeah.
Nagaro Doll Village, yes.
Yes. I want to go to the to Nagoroda Village. It's that's one I have a
Kyoto.
feeling I will be visiting alone.
Yeah, the museums at Kyoto wouldn't be bad.
Oh, the museum life in Kyoto is massively like that's a popular just tourist run. And speaking of the doll village, I love the history behind the doll village. Like I watched a god, probably almost a 2 hour long YouTube video talking about the history behind the doll village. And it's just the fact that like one it was mainly one individual, but it was a family that kind of started doing it, but it was one individual in the family. That they had that much care for where they lived and where they grew up to repopulate it with simulacra of the people who lived there is just astounding. It's a beauty in itself, and it is kind of creepy because the dolls are handmade. A lot of them, so you know,
Eh. I think it really just depends on the individual. I mean,
yeah,
look at it this way, right? There was a time where goth dress was considered creepy. Now it's
that's
just
true.
there was a time
Oh,
where punk
let's look at
was creepy and edgy and
the mid to late '80s with the Satanic
black
Panic for
metal and
heavy metal and everything. Yeah,
yeah.
I
It
mean,
just
uh,
it really just depends on the individual, I think.
you see a guy in a denim jacket with chains and the sleeves cut off in 1986, and you're afraid that he's gonna sacrifice you to Satan or something.
Oh, we were talking. We the conversations I find myself getting into some days. It never
Actually,
fails to astound me. Um,
that aesthetic I just described, by the way, was 100% my brother in the '80s
I never
until he
did
met his
denim
wife.
jackets. I never did denim jackets. The chain, absolutely. I had chains. I had the we call it, you might as well just call it. We had war paint. So the
Yeah.
eyeshadow, the lipstick, the fingernails.
Yeah, my brother didn't get that far. He just did the dress, the clothing, and then when he met my sister-in-law, she whipped him into shape. Others may just say whipped him.
Whipped him into shape. Oof. But it's actually kind of funny. I had the traditional like mohawk, the one she used to put toothpaste in your hair to get it to stand up in that perfect.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Having knowing what you actually look like behind the scenes.
uh,
Wow, that would be a treat to see.
yeah, I did the whole like chains and like full on punk look. I sported that regularly.
Man. Oh,
And
that must have took
we used toothpaste to hold that hair up. That was the way because you couldn't get enough hairspray to hold that stuff in place.
a good mohawk is a commodity. That is for sure.
We had that toothpaste to hold that hair up, and it stood straight up on end. And like I'm not talking like 12 inches off top of my head. Like, but back then, my hair, when it wasn't up in the mohawk, ran about halfway down my back. So I sported the good 2-3 foot giant mohawk. And when we went to parties and whatnot, I would tip the ends of it. it was it was a sight. It was most definitely a sight. Those were the days. Those were the days. But let's see. Cat Ties Tudin, Caddy Estodin would like to know what's your favorite Minecraft mob and what mob do you dislike the most?
Boy, I am probably going to absolutely piss you off, Cat Tie Student. Um, I'm not a huge fan of Minecraft.
Why would that upset her?
I don't know. Maybe she really, really loves Minecraft. And now that she's heard that I'm not a fan, she just hates me.
That's it. Unfollow, unsubscribe. I'm out of
Right?
here. Gone.
Um,
wait, Caddy. You just unfollowed my channel. Wrong person. Come back.
I will say, oh, Zoda, how dare. I have played enough Minecraft that I do have a favorite and a least favorite. Um, and I think my least favorite is surprisingly not a creeper, but the warden. Because fuck that guy and his ability to kill you through walls.
The Warden sucks.
Yes.
Outright. Absolutely. Just sucks. Though, if you play modded Minecraft, there is relief for the Warden.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yes. We discovered that modded Minecraft, a fully kitted out mecha suit, if you're playing with Mechanism, can safely ignore his blasts.
That kind of makes sense. I could see where they would do that. Yeah. And as far as favorites,
Puzzles say you have to supply the.
Yeah, when I opened the puzzle, it said I had to supply the image.
Really?
For the custom, which I can throw the image into the den Discord.
That's interesting because it shouldn't be like that.
But my favorite is always going to be the mushroom, because what is better than a cow that's going to give you mushroom soup?
I have no idea. All right, so let's do this, right? So this is what the image would look like upon completion, and then I'm going to swap over to a more normalized one that they can do. I didn't realize that was a thing where they're like, yeah, no, you can't, because otherwise I basically been sitting here doing this puzzle by myself.
Yeah, well, I had loaded it up because I saw that you were the only one doing anything. There was no other progress being made. But for those of you who can't see it, the logo is
it's right there on the screen now.
Yeah. Well, the wording, I should say, it gives the new name, and then underneath in a pinkish purple text, it says the internet's sexiest man.
That's right. That's right.
And that is, I may be retooling some of the design aspect, but that's probably going to be my very first T-shirt.
What do we? You know what we're going to do?
So keep an eye on my channel for a merch store where you may be able to buy a sexiest man T-shirt. Love you too, Zoda.
Stupid. Where's it at? Let's turn that off for a second. Stupid ad.
Hey, I think I know that guy.
All right, let's get everybody a new link.
Got a piece of hair tickling my forehead.
No, a piece of hair tickling your forehead. Well, you've got a lot of hair. I mean, it's kind of everywhere. It's there. Have you ever grown that hair long? Have you ever worn it long, or has it always just been short like that?
So where it's at right now is the longest I've had it in a while, but I have had it longer. I've had it down to about here.
There you go, people. New puzzle link.
Yeah, I've had it down to about my jawline before, but that's it never really stays there because my hair is naturally curly, naturally wavy, so it always pulls up after it
Mm-hmm.
starts to dry. The curls and the waves set in. But I've never had it really longer than that. Actually, recently seeing how my hair, I'm embracing the curls and the waves in my hair now. I haven't
Right.
through most of my life ever done that. Um, I actually thought about trying to pull off, and this is not so much of a niche uh, reference I'm gonna make, but any of you Stranger Things fans, thinking about trying to pull off an Eddie Munson look with the hair.
Mhm.
It's just a passing thought, and I hadn't even told that to Paradox. That's the first time she's hearing about
Curls are awesome. You know, I had a head full of curls myself. I honestly, I'm kind of glad I've gotten to the point now where I'm old enough that most of my curls are gone. Um,
but the curls are awesome.
yeah. Rock it while you got it. Right, right.
And there's a possibility I won't have it for too much longer because I mean Peridot has seen the men in my family. Um,
Hey, you
it-
know what? I have like twice the hair that any male member of my family currently
I
has
do
at this
too,
age.
Nori. Oh no, even I have twice the hair on my head that my nephew, who is 4 years younger than me, does. I have almost twice the hairline he has. It's ridiculous. I don't get it.
Oh, I love giving my especially some of my younger brothers hard, and that's the thing, right? I've got two younger brothers, and I have more hair than like one of them's completely bald, the other one has a really bad receding hairline. Um,
And see, I am the younger brother, and it's yeah, like I'm the younger brother with the good hair, and there was a time where I worked at a place where I was known as the guy with the good hair.
Hi, Ketty. Welcome in,
Hi, you
Katie.
cat.
I think Katie.
Oh, she goes by cat.
Oh, she goes by Cat. Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
There you go. It's fine.
three of these have to fit together somehow. Come
It's
on,
fine.
I suck at puzzles. I don't know why I'm trying this.
Brain Chick would like to know, cousin. Ooh, yes,
Cousin.
cousin. Brain Chick would like to know if you had to be stuck inside of a video game with somebody, who would it be?
Short answer, not Nori. Um, if I had
I,
to be,
to be honest, I couldn't expect anybody to want to be stuck in a game with me. As much as I troll everybody, that would just be like torture. I'm okay with that fact.
there's,
I
I,
spend a good deal of time tormenting people. It is perfectly fine.
if it had to be anybody, and anybody I've gamed with, or any of that, um, it's a very hard decision to make because like I've played a lot of games with Squirrel on and off stream. I've played a lot of games with Long Range Muffin on and off stream, and I work well with both of them. Work great with them both as a trio. Um, but and he has made an appearance on stream with us on a golf day. Um, it would actually have to be my friend Ardium. Um, Ardium and I have been playing games together for
He made it
almost
to a
two
Gen golf
decades.
game.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah, he was in
Cool.
one we had about a month ago. Um, he him and I, like I said, we've been playing games together for almost 20 years. we know each other's play style in and out and work well. We work so well together in any game that we play that there's a large amount of silent communication where we just kind of
Oh,
anticipate each
those are
other's actions.
the best kind of partners.
Yeah, and
You don't
it,
have
it
to
would
say a
have to
word.
be him.
You just do.
There were many times in Final Fantasy 11, the original. I'm sorry, Cat. There's the original Final Fantasy MMO where it came down to like in a massive raid, a 24-man raid where him and I were the reason we made it through because of our coordination. So like
Cat,
yeah,
I heard
it
him say there's
definitely
not
helped.
enough beer. I don't know what that's in reference to.
Never, never. Kat is a cherished friend, and I do owe her a game night. Um, and I'm hoping the game night that we're gonna have is gonna be some Helldivers.
That has been a bit of a consumer of individuals as of lately.
It really
Um,
has, and it do be like that.
I find I have been working on improving my aiming skill sets. I who was I? I was talking to somebody. I was like, I go into that now, and I'm like, what I want is a gun with lots of bullets. Don't show me anything else. If it doesn't have a truckload of bullets, I'm not interested in it. Like, I don't care. I don't care. This grenade is a rocket launcher. I don't care. The reload sucks on it. Don't give it to me.
I mean, I have my preferred loadout, and currently my preferred loadout is a nerfed loadout, but I still enjoy using it. So
I've tried those breaker shotguns. I hate them. You have to
my
reload so
accuracy,
much.
my accuracy is so amazing with them, though. So I have
My
to stick with
accuracy is 10 times better. I get more kills with the machine guns. I put that stalwart, and then I go from between that and that submachine gun defender. The I think this is the SM-37,
it.
and the little handgun defender. Like it's just clip, 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 clip. It's, it's like
That my problem with that little the machine pistol,
uh huh.
my problem with that is you only get 4 clips. It's like
Well, you only get 4 clips
it's
with
not
any of the handgun weapons.
it's not worth it. It's worth it because I mean that thing will tear through bugs like nobody's business. I have killed a brood spewer with that machine pistol in one
Mm-hmm.
clip. So it has its it has its advantages. Saved my ass many a times. But there's gotta be better sidearms out there too. I
I
actually
haven't
just
found any.
recently unlocked well, I just recently unlocked that revolver one that Zoda was talking about, when the 3 of us were playing, and I kinda wanna try it out. I haven't had the chance to.
Yeah. No, I think I will pass on the it just has too few bullets.
That's fair. That's fair.
You okay, let's put it this right. You got the sidearm, it's got 6 bullets in it, you get 4 clips,
Yeah.
which means that you need to make certain that every one of those hit. Have a good night, Miss Keisha. Take care.
Good night, Miss Keisha, and thank you for
Rest
the
well.
questions, and, I promise you, the moment I come to Sweden, you will be the first to know.
Great.
Not Wags, but you. Can't tell the competition I'm showing up. I think somebody stole some of the stuff I was built with. 100% Nori stole some of my pieces.
I'm just working the outer edge. It's just fine. I'm not paying any attention to anything else. That's kind of the trick that I do, though.
Yeah, I'm looking at grouping of color and going from there.
Yep. Shale does the same thing. She's like, "Ooh, that's a color that." See, I'm colorblind, slightly colorblind, right? So to me,
Yeah.
I see primaries and that's it. So like if I group by colors, people would be like, that doesn't go there. That's the wrong color. No, it's the same color as that one. No, it's not the same color. Okay,
This is why
you
I
say
hate
so.
puzzles, because I will start grouping by what looks like goes together, and then I find something that looks like it should go there, and then it ends
Welcome
up going
back,
somewhere
Katie.
else, and I'm like, forget this.
Um,
I don't want to play anymore.
let's see. Zoda says, if you were on death row, what would your last meal be?
Um, this is an easy one for me. I'm sorry, Zoda, because it is the same meal that I request on my birthday, which is coming up soon. I'm looking at you, Peridot. Um, Peridot
Wow.
introduced me to, so she makes pork chops. She'll pan fry the pork chops to a point where they get that nice golden brown on them, and then she makes this gravy out of cream of mushroom soup, and it's the base soup, like a condensed soup, and she'll make
Yep.
this gravy out of it with adding. We've made it recently and added extra mushrooms to it, and with some Worcestershire woozy that wash your sister sauce. Um,
Yep.
I can never pronounce it. Um, she mixes that into the gravy plus a few other things, and then just puts them in like a Pyrex dish
Frankie. Welcome
and
in.
just slathers it over the pork chops and bakes that. So it's like a slow, low bake marinade of the pork chops
Right.
with the gravy. And get some good mashed potatoes, some mac and cheese, some green beans, maybe some broccoli. That'll be the main dish. And then, of course, big ass slice of cheesecake with blueberries and blueberry jam on top. And then you can take me to the chair, flip that switch, and I will die happy fat man. Not that I'm not already a happy fat man, but you know.
I mean, I wouldn't say you're fat. I would say there is plenty of the Rutherford to go around. Oh boy.
And there is a round. Yes, and for any of you who are wondering, Peridot is a fucking amazing cook. You will hear her on her stream occasionally talking about me cooking in the kitchen and how it smells good. No, man, she outplays me all the time when it comes to cooking. It's amazing.
It's interesting. So that's Campbell's mushroom soup
Hmm.
gravy. Shale does something very similar, only we do it with a roast, beef roast.
Oh, that sounds like it'd be really good
You
too.
stick that in so you get your big slab of meat, you throw that into the crock pot. Yeah, crack open the can of the cream mushroom soup, dump it in there, add some water if you want to, just to thin it out just a little bit.
Hmm.
Salt, pepper, whatever other you want on it. Put the lid on it, set that thing to 4 hours, and come back, and the meat just falls.
That does sound pretty good.
It like self
Uh,
shreds itself. It's a fantastic because you stick your fork in there, you pull the thing out, and when you stab it with the fork and pull it up, the meat just kind of opens right on up for you. Just kind of like blah, 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 melts in your mouth. It's fantastic,
I'll have to
and it is hands free cooking.
I'll have to bug Shale for that recipe. uh,
Absolutely hands free cooking.
Nora, do you mind if we take a quick, like 2 or 3 minutes
Yeah, help yourself.
human break? I've had a lot of water.
No, you're fine. If you need a break, go take a break, my friend. I will sit right
I just
here
need.
and entertain our guests. We will continue to tell them all about our fantastic guest and other things coming up. So
I just need
if
to
you
hit the
need that,
restroom.
yep, go
I
for it.
will leave you all with my squirrel.
At that squirrel. Squirrel. The big floofy squirrel. I hope you guys are having a fantastic, fantastic Tuesday. It is a squirrel friend. But yes, we are for any of you coming in. You don't know what's going on. This is Talk Tuesday. This is the fantastic time where we get to sit down and chat with a fantastic streamer. Today's special guest, if you haven't haven't already figured it out, is the one and only, the Brotherford. He has been keeping us absolutely enthralled, telling us wonderful stories, and we've been learning all kinds of very valuable information about him. If you would like to know more about the Brotherford, absolutely hit the little channel point redeem to get your questions in, and we will get them answered by the Brotherford. If this is looking like something fun that you would like to do, you're always welcome to reach out. We would love to have you. There are still plenty of Tuesdays left in this year. You are welcome to sign up for one, and we'll get you in here on a Talk Tuesday, and we'll find out all about you. And if you're concerned, if you're worried, if you're thinking, no, I'm not big enough, I'm not important enough, you know what? It doesn't matter. It does not matter. We're here for the conversations. We're here for the amazing company, and we are here for you. So, if you want to do it, come on in. When not streaming, so copyright is the thing. Do you prefer? Oh, that's not even mine. Did I tell them about the $5 incentive? So hold up, we don't talk about the $5 incentive. I've had to stop the $5 incentive because I can't continue to pay people the $5 to show up anymore. The incentive program had to go away. I'm a little broke right now.
I hope the squirrel kept you company.
Oh, squirrel was massively. As you can see, some of the people were ecstatic over the squirrel.
Yes, I can see that. And that, yeah, that's Swift Squirrel's best friend. You know, it's Swift Squirrel's proxy in my own
Yes,
apartment.
Katie, I saw exactly what you put down there about the PlayStation.
Oh, excuse me.
I know the feeling.
Oh, there we go. I was wondering why my puzzle was paused. Apparently, if you hit the space bar, it pauses your time in the puzzle. Didn't know that.
Zodicus asks, what is your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Moose Tracks.
Thank you. A fellow moose tracker. Ah, I knew there was a reason why I liked you.
Moose Tracks is just so good. It's
It really
the perfect
is.
mix of just peanut butter, chocolate, vanilla.
The fudge.
Yeah. Oh God, yes. And it's not just chocolate; it's fudge.
Yes.
Oh,
that the best bite is when you get that peanut butter cup, the split peanut butter cup, not even the full one, but the ones that are like split in half.
Yes.
And a dollop of that fudge all in one spoonful goes in your mouth. That is such a nice clash of really bitter chocolate to the milk chocolate sweet, and then that peanut butter comes in to finish right over the top of it.
Yes.
The vanilla is a nice tie-in, but you could have that bite without the vanilla ice cream, and it's still chef's kiss.
100% agree. Cat, that may be well, I don't know. It's really big in the Midwest of the U.S. Like every store in my area has it. Every store in the states around my state have it.
Well, you can get over here in the Southeast too.
Okay, so yeah, you just gotta keep an eye out for it. Moose Tracks. I know. Pretty sure Briars makes a Moose Tracks, and I know Pepperidge Farm does.
Briars makes some Moose Tracks. Most store brands like Publix around here for us make some Moose Tracks. Then there's what is that? Bluebell. Bluebell also makes a Moose Track. Oh, that's phenomenal. Yes. Bluebell is probably my favorite of the lot of them, just because the vanilla ice cream in that is vanilla ice cream.
Yes.
So it's a bit more vanilla-y in flavor.
That was actually my introduction to Moose Tracks, was the Bluebell. And that was in my sophomore year of high school, actually. My best friend's dad at the time had bought it because it was his favorite. Nobody else liked
For you, like, we have it here. Yes, right.
Yeah, if you ever
That
want a brother bird to show up at your doorstep, just offer either the pork chop mid dinner I was talking about earlier, or Moose Tracks ice cream, or both with cheesecake. If you offer the three together, I'll probably just marry you and divorce Peridot. Just saying.
look out, Harrow. You've got some competition.
No, it'd be a temporary marriage, just so you know, because Peridot's the one, you know.
Oh, we've
You
heard
know,
you wax about her. I'll be honest with you. My that spotlight and hitting Peridot with it has been like one of the favorite things that I enjoy doing on your channel. If for nothing more, I know it annoys her to no
oh, she hates that level of it. I think it's more she pretends to hate that level of attention, but she actually really does love that level of attention, and she just doesn't want anybody to know.
end. Right.
And I know she can't defend herself right now because she's doing a grocery pickup at the moment. At least I hope she's still doing it. I don't know. She hasn't come back yet. I would have seen that.
Nice. She'd have called you on that one, right?
Yeah. We do
Uh,
love a Peridot around here, Brain Chick. She is amazing. She's also probably the reason I'm not in prison.
I'll be
I
honest.
wasn't.
I have heard her through your headset a number of times. Where we're like, doo doo doo, show us some Peridot love, and then you're like, oh sweetheart, and she's like, son of a.
Yep. Anymore, if it's her, it's not even a son of a. It's Nori, because she just knows. She just knows.
I don't know why I get all the blame. It's not all
Sir,
my fault.
sir, you are a troll, and everybody knows it.
It's not all my fault. I will absolutely take blame when when I have something to do with it. If I got to be part of the setup and the execution of it, I'm absolutely all there to take credit for it and be a part of that. I get blamed for stuff I didn't even do.
Well,
Trolling is
it's
one
just
thing, but I get blamed for stuff I'm not even remotely close to. Like something bad happened, that's Nori's fault. Wait, what? What did I do this?
it's just because everybody knows the kind of troll you are.
I didn't do it. So I typically get a good laugh out of it. It doesn't really matter too much to me.
Oh, yeah. But we all adore Nori. That's all. That's all it comes down to is we adore the Nori.
But I get blamed for a lot of things. And I was like, okay, some of us have a cross to bear. Mine is to be the permanent practical joker.
Yes, and then to blame the blue potato cat after
I
the
don't
fact.
blame the blue potato cat. I keep saying I should have remembered my lessons and gone and talked to the expert that is the blue potato cat. As I was informed upon meeting her for the first time on Denmark season 1, that she was the expert in all things Valheim. And then I found out that she was the expert in all things Minecraft and the expert in all things Sea of Thieves and Helldivers and Mega Man and just any game that you play, you go see Blue Potato Cat if you get stuck because she's the expert in it.
I may have to pick blue potato cat's brain about some games here pretty soon. Then I need to get a better. I need to get a better build for my Helldivers.
Gen Z slang. You have been missing out on that as of lately, though. Here in Discord,
I have, and I'll admit I just been so tired when I get home anymore.
we between Duzakino and Cat Tie Student, we have been introduced to Gen Z slang.
Oh, the Gen Z slang. I heard some of it.
It
Oh
is
god.
fantastic. We get started rolling in the Discord chat really well, and all you hear is groans from Shale and Squirrel the whole time. It is fantastic. It's
Ah,
lovely.
I imagine rightfully so. For real, for real.
I'm straight, no cap, for real.
No cap?
Just pure facts.
That'd be bussin'.
Uh, Johnny, to be fair, Johnny, I think if I moved there, you would just have a cohort in all of your misadventures.
God, could you imagine the three of us together?
Ooh. Yeah, I like a good practical joke. I'm sorry, my favorite memorable moment from season one Denmark is showing the zombie deer to Hugh and Wags over in the Onion Knight Citadel. Like, you guys want to see
Yeah.
something, and that was one of those. I'm like, you guys want to see something like just truly horrifying? Check this out. Make the thing, drop it down there, and then it was like we all three had the same thought. Like the little light bulb went out. It was a shared brain cell moment between the three of us. We all just kind of like the cameras turned, the characters were all looking at each other. We're looking at the thing. We're like, I've got an idea.
It lined up so perfectly too because Squirrel was just, I think, taking a break from marbles, was it?
She was doing marbles. She was she had sat down in the kitchen, was AFK. We were on mute because she was doing marbles.
Yeah.
And it was just when I was like, while she's gone, I got to show you guys this stuff, right? So I wasn't going to talk about it with her on stream because then we would have had to shown her, and it would have been like one of those. I'm like, I didn't know what I was going to do with it, but I knew I wanted to do something with it. and yeah, oh dear was one of those just glorious moments that was just right timing, right place, right everything, and even going back listening to the clips where she's like, "Chat, we're in trouble. I can hear building around me."
Mm-hmm.
She still had no idea what she was coming back to,
and much trouble was had. Much trouble was indeed had.
I don't. She's like, I can hear building. I'm like, yeah, but you have no idea what you're coming back to.
The laughter we had in doing that was just, I don't think any of the three of us could breathe.
We were dying just because we ran past Serb. It was three of us one afternoon. And Serb was going in the direction, saw the three of us blaze right by him. I turned around to look to say something to Serb, and he was already heading back to
yeah. Oh god,
he
he immediately was just it was literally, he didn't even say it, but you could hear it in the way he started moving. I don't want any of this. And just gone.
he saw the three of us running and he was like, nope.
Oh, it was delightful though.
It was glorious. Like there are pieces from season one, even season two, right, that are like just these moments of absolute just gloriousness.
And
season one had that one. Then there was the firework from under Squirrel's house. That was so
you,
good.
Kino. I still remember seeing the clip for Kino of what's going on. He like legitimately had no idea, and then you just hear Squirrel. That's my house.
She's in chat screaming, "What are they doing to my house?"
Yeah, it's just. Oh, I'm so happy I showed that to you. I really am.
Such a good time.
Where is that one piece?
Such
Oh,
a good time.
I'm getting sucked
And
into
then
this
you did a wonderful job on the roads in season one. You were officially the road guy. And I remember in season two, you were like, I got to shake off this road bit.
And thus the Brojo was born.
Yep. we advertised the snot out of the Brojo. Like, I think you had
Yeah.
a regular thing even when we were doing like the bridge build off and everything, which was pretty
Yeah. Actually, the Brojo still gets mentioned by Zoda and Squirrel on their current playthrough.
right? Hey, everybody knows if you're in Valheim and needing a bit of help with your mojo, then there's nowhere better to go than the Brother Fjords Brojo.
You see, it could still be called the Brojo too.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Actually, it
delightful.
can't be the Brojo anymore. It's got to be the Broyo.
Brojo. Spelt with a J.
It is spelled with a J, yeah.
It's
Which
still
is why
it's still spelled with a J, but now it's the
yeah,
Broyo.
it's the Broyo. The the Brother Fjords Broyo. Or Wags. There's a clip. It's a short on my YouTube channel where I was playing around with those stupid glyphs on the stones and suck the water out from underneath of it, and I'm just dying of laughter. And you can hear you clear as day on that. Squirrel, you've got to take your chat over to where Nori's at. They have got to see what he's done. I've lost it at that point. I'm just dying. Because it was one of those, I'm like, oh, okay, the sea just went out. That's pretty cool. That was a little unexpected. And I absolutely lost my sanity because it was like perfectly timed because Wags is like, oh my God, oh my God. And he's like, well, I guess I can build my boat now.
I remember that.
It's just like,
Oh
you
man.
can't say that to me. I was doing good to keep it under wraps at that point. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. He's like, well, I guess I can build my boat now. I'm like, that was the perfect like dry one liner sort of. I lost it. It was gone.
Some of these pieces
So
look
much
like they
fun.
should fit together and don't.
Well, that's the trick behind the puzzle. Mrs. Exoticus asks, as the sexiest man of the internet, who is a good runner up in your opinion? Who would be your next bit of competition?
Well, is that excluding Waggleton? Because like Wags is him and I bounced that title back and forth so much before I finally decided that we can share it. Mainly because I got tired of bouncing it back and forth. So I guess Zoda, follow-up question, are we excluding Wags? Because if not, then Wags. Can't leave him out. Ball's in your court, Zodicus.
I have no idea. I am excited for. I think we're gonna try and get season 3 of Denmark started this month.
Oh, this month. That
Yep.
early, huh?
Well, that way people got time because I don't know about everybody else's schedule, but like my schedule is not going to allow me to do a whole lot from the server all the time. So I want to make certain that we had a little
Right.
bit of time in there to get stuff done and going. Because there's the bosses, there's the base build, there is the gather
Yeah.
supplies, materials, and then get ready for the Ashlands to drop. Um, and then there's all the Hildegard stuff and everything else. Like I don't know how much people
Mhm.
want to do as a group, want to do by themselves, um, just want to do in general. So yeah,
And that's the great thing with the new world progressions too, is you can make the world progression player specific now, so that your progression is tied to what bosses you've killed. So you got, say, I'm on there a bunch, and I make it up to and kill Bone Mass. Well, if you jump on day 2 after I've killed Bone Mass, you're not going to get raids that are tied to Bone Mass. You're still going to get those day 1 raids at your base.
oh, nice. I didn't realize they'd finally put that in. I'd heard
Yeah,
talks about that.
that's just it's so much nicer, and it makes it so much easier to play in massive servers that way.
That'll be good. But yeah, the I think there are plans of kicking off season 3, so that people can be ready to hit. Um, because that was kind of the plan originally with season 2 was to try. Originally, it was to get in there when Mistlands was dropping, so that we would
Mm.
be hitting Mistlands about time they went live, and literally they spun up the server. They threw it on test branch, and then it went right out to public so fast that we didn't get a chance.
Yeah. And oh god, Mistlands is such a
I'll have to
pain
go look at it.
still.
Yeah, it really is. Have a good night, brain check. Sleep well.
Good night, squirrel's cousin, since I'm not allowed to call you cousin.
Not squirrel's cousin. It's our cousin. My cousin. Cousin.
Cousin!
Cousin. Ooh, which reminds me. I am putting together a specific walk on for a certain individual within the community. Would you like to lend your vocal talents for it?
If you'll have me, I'll be there.
Excellent. I
And
will.
the
I
fact that you
will.
say a specific individual, I'm assuming we can't say the individual because it'll spoil the surprise.
That's right. And I am happy to share the net end results of said activity, and other people can make use of it. Like, I am all good with that. I would love for the fact for that to be like shared in amongst the entirety of the community, and then everybody's doing it, because that would just be funny and fantastic.
I
So
love I love the community interaction with the den and the various communities that have come together with the digital. It's just
it's it's
it's
it's
wonderful.
nice, right? It's I find it is really fantastic, just exactly where everything lands at. Like, we'll meet
Mhm.
people. I'm like, okay, where'd you come from? I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
from over here. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that we were cool. Um, there's a lot of crisscross and crossover and intermixing, and people kind of flow from one spot to the other, and I think it's fantastic.
yes.
To me,
Well, and then
that's the kind of community I think that you want, right? Is one that is shared, where everybody knows everybody. We're all
yeah,
one big happy family, laughing, joking, having a good time. Like, to me, that's a community.
it's like Cheers.
Yep.
Everybody knows, well, and not so much your name, but everybody knows your screen name.
Yeah. I'm glad I met yes. Yes, Queen. Yes.
It's like cat. I am so happy to have picked you up from Bearded Waffle, and that you are now such a prominent figure in both of our communities.
Yeah. But I mean, that's what helps things grow, right? Is you get people together who like doing things together on a regular basis, which is,
Yes.
I can't even begin to tell you how fantastic that is, because it makes, I like gaming. I like gaming an awful lot. I don't like
Mhm.
gaming by myself.
You see, and that's
I'm not
where,
a big solo player.
and you and I are kind of, I don't want to say opposites in that, but I cherish a good solo play of something. Like right now, I'm doing the Final
Mhm.
Fantasy remake, and I'm having so much fun with it. And just being able to cherish that story and share it with people and just have such a good time.
I say go
But
for
like,
it. If you're enjoying it, then by all means enjoy it. Like,
but then
not
also on the flip side of it, I also love jumping into Helldivers with you just on a whim, and you, me, Zoda, and whoever else we can get, just showing some
Mhm.
democracy to some bugs.
Or there's golf with your friends and that lovely bit of chaos.
That is always a lovely bit of chaos, and we always get, I feel like every month we have like 2 or 3 new faces just show up.
Hmm. And it's fantastic, right? It's again, I think it's the best part of the community is the growth, the new people, the new friends we're constantly meeting, that the new players.
Mhm.
Um, I have been a big MMO advocate for a very long time, mostly because that's ooh, an anonymous gifter gifted to Miss Caddy. That
Oh,
was
well, thank you
fantastic.
so much. No, Cat doesn't have to worry about the ads.
No ads for cats.
And yeah, and oh, Horizon Zero Dawn is so Squirrel is currently playing through that on the weekends.
Yep.
Um, that is on my short list of games to get into hopefully this year. But I have a feeling my m- weekly my midweek streams are going to be eaten up by the JRPGs I've always said I wanted to play and never did um, for stream. So um, may
I'm
have to
going to
end up
make
being a
a
weekend thing.
I'm going to make a very bad pun here, and I don't care. You can't stop me. Squirrel's
I
definitely
care.
been killing it on the weekends.
She is just a strum of the chord away from being a professional.
Yeah. hmm hmm it's all the different personalities. Like, okay, so for me, right, I grew up in a large family, and when I say a large family, I've got two younger brothers, yes, but on my father's side of the family, I've got like 13 aunts and uncles. On my mom's side of the family, there's 8 aunts and uncles, and so family reunions were always this huge things.
I I too come from a very large family, but there was not not as much camaraderie as I imagine yours had.
No, actually, mine didn't have as nearly as much as you think it had. Unfortunately, my family was not. It wasn't a thing. We'll just leave
Yeah.
it at that. I'm not going to dive too deep into that because that's a whole lot of luggage that doesn't need to be
that's that's a suitcase better left for the dark corner of the attic.
unpacked. Ooh, Zoda
Zoda with the
in
22
for the
months.
22 months. Yes, he is one of probably my longest subscribers. He's been in here for a very long time. He was in here as part of the very first group of people doing the digital engineering SMP back in the day.
Mm,
Um, and
I
on
do
my
recall him
500
talking
follower
about
sub, we pulled that server up and we took people on a lovely little stroll of some of the things that we talk about. We bring up and we're like, oh yeah, well back here on season one we did X, Y, or Z or whatnot, and nobody had any idea of what it is that we were talking about, and so we took
that.
a stroll down memory lane, and it was fascinating. It was fabulous. Uh, it was a good time.
Yeah, I one of my longest followers.
I don't actually have a follow age command, Caddy. The only way I know follow age for people is depending on how many months that they've been subbed for, and
mm, Kat, you have been following Nori since February 13th of 2013.
huh? No,
According to her ID card
no,
on
no. She's been a member of Twitch since 2013. She has not been a follower of my channel
no,
since 2013.
it's if you click on their ID card in the Twitch chat, it's got a follower since. Zodicus
uh,
says following since
oh,
October 24th, 2021.
oh, so yeah, February 2023. I thought you said 2013. I was like, there's no way she's.
Oh, 2023, sorry. I probably look, I had 3 hours of sleep last.
I the nerves much? You weren't scared about today.
No, it wasn't the nerves. I could not get to sleep. I mean there was nerves last night, yes, but once I got into
he
bed it
was
was
he was a
cleared up.
kid getting ready for Christmas.
I don't know about that. I just a lot. I think a lot of the nerves came from the name change, which
Yes,
seems to be going over
2023.
quite
Yeah, Zoda's been here since 2021.
well. Squirrel since 2022.
Yeah.
Geez, what's mine? I'm just gonna put in a random chat. Follow July. I followed you on the 4th of July in 2022. You are my independence buddy. I guess that's why we just hand out the democracy so well.
That's right. That's right. Let's see. Next, the questions we have. Swift Squirrel says, when not streaming, so copyright is when not streaming, so copyright is a thing. Do you prefer to play games with their soundtracks or with your own music? And if your own music, what are you listening to?
So, and you will have all heard me say this when playing random games, how much I love the music in a game. The only time I will listen to my own music while gaming is if the game itself doesn't really have a soundtrack. If it just does like ambient music and ambient sounds. Outside of that, I don't want to say I'm a purist, but I will 100% listen to the game's soundtrack because
Interesting.
I it builds that atmosphere. It builds that experience to hear the music and experience the story as it all wraps into one. Um, there's only one game I can think of where I listen to my own music, and it's only if I'm playing solo, and that's Fortnite. And even
I
then, I
would.
don't listen very loud.
Yeah, well, I generally don't listen to music in any game. More for the immersion factor, because for me, real life doesn't have music unless you've got something on your heads, right?
Right?
So why should the game have music if I'm playing a game that simulates real life? Don't don't play for me in nice pan flutes because the day is suddenly dawned.
That's fair. And that goes back to everybody has their own play style.
Yep.
I know Squirrel is
Oh, Squirrel's
for some
huge on the
games.
music.
Yeah, and then there are some games where Squirrel won't play the music. Um, but uh, hearing Squirrel talk about the music in Enshrouded, I know for a fact that Squirrel definitely enjoys that music.
Golf.
Golf, yes. Okay, golf is another one where if I'm not playing it with a bunch of people, like if it's just four of us playing together and I'm not streaming, I will play my own music low and in the background. Just and that's just because the golf music drives me up the wall sometimes.
Well, the golf music is just terrible. Golf with their friends needed to do something better for the music. I will
Yes.
absolutely like jump on that bandwagon and be like, yes, totally need to do something different. Have I turned on the music and listened to music in games like Valheim and what? Yes, I have heard the music. I just my preference is to play without it.
The
I
Valheim
think
music
it's
is
fine.
so gorgeous.
Again, we're in a survival game. Real life does not have music.
But real life should have music.
I'm not
Hands
going to
down,
disagree with you.
everybody should have their own theme song.
Speaking of theme song, have you figured out what you want to do for a theme song? Do you have plans on changing since you're doing this rebranding and everything? I didn't know if you were planning on changing music
I
that you use when you start up. Like how much of the rebranding are you actually pushing through?
I've never actually thought about that. I do like the so I play a lo-fi playlist
Hmm.
at the start, and I love lo-fi music. Lo-fi music honestly is probably the reason I still have a job, because the shitty hours I put in at my old job with all the overtime and everything I did, um, lo-fi is what kept my blood pressure low.
I, I
um,
I I like a good lo-fi. So you're not going to hear any arguments out of me over that one. And
um,
Squirrel, I caught your message. I will make certain that that happens.
um, like yeah, it just I don't think I'll do a theme song, just because I have such a whimsical. I don't even want to say whimsical is not the right word. My tastes and desire for what I'm hearing change
Hmm.
so drastically that I think locking myself into a theme song is
Well,
not the right thing to do for me.
maybe, maybe not. But I don't know this. So, okay, so by I, you know, okay. So would you consider? I guess not so much locking yourself into a theme song, but would you consider like, okay, I've been playing this music like every time I start my stream up for the last, we'll say, 2 years or whatnot. I'm going through a rebranding, so I'm going to change this music to something different.
Oh
And
yeah,
if
one.
so, what would be that? What would be that thing that you would be changing it to then?
Oh, I see, and like the rebranding I'm going through now is just more for name and aesthetic. Um,
Yeah, but I
but
mean, intro music is still an aesthetic all of its own.
if I had to, since my gaming background
Heavy
comes
metal
from
Viking.
n- probably not, although heavy metal Viking music is
Don't tempt
very
him with a good
prominent on my
time.
playlists. Um, uh, I would honestly say probably some remixed RPG music, specifically remixed like battle themes from some of my favorite RPGs. Because
Oh,
I've
those
come
are so
across
good.
quite a few, and I would probably just have those on a short playlist of like 10 or 15. Um, and then kind of like I've got plenty of friends who are musicians and who can do music cut and just or they're just amazing with audio.
Right.
And I would probably have them build something custom from those sound samples to use.
Nice.
Um, Kat, if you're talking about your question that you just asked, I can answer that now if Nori doesn't mind.
Now go for it.
So, if you're still around, Kat, my advice would be to just do it. Don't worry about it. Don't stress about it. Um, Sony PlayStation has, and I don't know if it's built into the PS5, but the PS4 had it where it was a built-in function where you could stream to Twitch directly from the system. And I wouldn't imagine they would take that away.
No.
So my advice is pick a game you want to play, pick a game you like playing. Don't worry about the viewer count. Don't worry about the follower count. Don't worry about anything else. Just hit play and enjoy yourself. Narrate yourself as you play. That's how I got started, narrating what I was doing, what my thought process was, why I was doing certain things. And then that just kind of evolved into what I do now. So, my biggest piece of advice is just do it.
Yeah. Yelling and screaming.
Yes, it has evolved into yelling and screaming. uh,
But I think generally that's usually been so that's one of the questions we typically ask around here, right? Is we ask, if you had to give advice to somebody new starting up or whatnot, what advice would you give? And typically the resounding response to that particular question has been just do it. Don't wait till you
Yeah.
have everything lined up. Don't wait till you have everything perfect or whatnot. Hit the play button, get in there, get started. Just do
Right.
it.
It's just like I've told Peridot before when Peridot was like wanting to get started. There's never going to be the perfect moment. The perfect moment to stream is dictated by you. And when I say dictated by you, it's dictated by your ability to get over that initial fear to click that button or go live. Once you do that, once you get past that, the rest of the story writes itself because you're just playing a game, you're just having fun, and you're just talking to people who have the same interest as you in the game you're playing.
There you go. That perfect moment is now. Don't let the chance pass you by.
Exactly.
Uh, Johnny Madrid would like to know, I have seen pictures of your many pets. How did you get started on your amazing zoo?
Um, there's a multi-part answer to that, and the multi-part answer is Peridot and our lovely firstborn offspring. Um,
Now, is this the one that
when
we've seen occasionally stick their head in on your streams?
yes, they currently have blue hair right now, but yes, that would be the one. Um, so when Peridot and I first got together, um, there was an understanding that if we were ever going to live together, I would have to be okay with living with cats, at the very least two. Um, and I was okay with that. I'm okay with cats. Cats. I'm by nature. I am some sort of weird dwarven druid because animals just love me. I have only met in my entire life. I have only met three animals that do not love me. That is not a brag. That is just it is it blows my mind because there was a point in my life where I was just an absolute asshole, and yet animals love me. So,
Not a brag, just straight facts, no cap.
yeah, no cap, for real, for real. Um, and so Peridot and I had the understanding that there's always going to be cats in the house. And then, speaking of Peridot, thank you so much, my love. She brought me coffee.
Oh.
Um,
Now that's real love, folks.
there was always that understanding, and then her interest in animals evolved a little more. One of the things we talked about is if we didn't have kids, she wanted to get a snake, and Lucy's not out right now. Lucy's not out now, so I can't show you. But we decided if we didn't have kids, we were going to get a California king snake. And then, a year later, we had Kyrie, my oldest. Um, yes, named after Kingdom Hearts, for those of you who know.
Mhm.
There's a story to that. They weren't directly named after the character in Kingdom Hearts. It just kind of happened. Um, I can explain
Hmm.
that later, especially if somebody themes it. But so we had the idea of the California king snake in the beginning, and then we had Kyrie, and then we had Gavin, and we really didn't look too much into having more animals aside from the cats. And then we ended up with a lot of cats at one point. Um, it turns out Peridot and Kyrie, by default, just attract cats. They just show up. Can't explain it. Poof, there's a cat some days. Um, and that's actually how we ended up with the majority of our cats. When we first got together, she had a cat named Toby, and then um, after that, every other cat except for one was some random stray or the offspring of a random stray that showed up on our doorstep. And that's kind of how it
There's a cat.
evolved. Is it evolved from there to um, and I speak openly about this next part. There was a point in time where Peridot and I were separated for about 11 months. Um, rough time, but we came back together in the end, and we are so much stronger and so much better for it. And to kind of celebrate that us getting back together, I got her the California king snake that we'd originally talked about getting if we didn't have kids. And that is Lucy. Lucy is loose for um, Lucifer or Lucille. It is now Lucilifer. Um, but
I just that doesn't sound like that rolls off the tongue as easy as you make it sound like.
it doesn't, but it works. And then since we had the one snake, my daughter and Peridot went out to get, literally, they were going to the pet store to get cat food. And they came back with the cat food
And a new
and a
snake
ball
pet.
python, a ball python named cat food. And in between the cats and the snakes, mind you, there was a cockatiel and about 2 dozen rats throughout the years. Um, a
Like I
dog.
get the
The
rats.
dog was mine.
I totally get the rats. But a cockatiel?
The cockatiel was the kiddos. And that was our mistake. We got a cockatiel for a young child, not really doing the research to know that cockatiels are not a young child pet. Um,
No.
um, but and then yeah, I had a dog that Peridot drove to Iowa with my mother for God be all gods be with you on that one.
It's the only reason she made Betty
Yeah. Um, they went and so backstory, huge fan of Cowboy Bebop. One of my favorite animes. We'll talk hours
Amen.
about Cowboy Bebop.
Preach on
Um,
about Cowboy Bebop. I'm here for that. Let's go.
and Ein was my favorite fucking character. And Peridot went with my mom to Iowa to an AKC certified breeder of Pembroke corgis and got me a corgi named Ein, who, as it turns out, as he matured, had the same markings as Ein from Cowboy Bebop. It was just providence. That dog knew when he knew when I got off work. He was always waiting for me. He knew what time I'd go to work. He'd be ready to go out and go to the
That's
bathroom.
fantastic.
Fucking amazing. He was a companion through and through until the day he passed. He was the bestest boy. And if I were to have another dog, it would be a corgi. They are so lovable and fun, energetic, and I probably was in my best bodily health when that dog was around, just because of his movements and his attitude. Um, yeah. But then that's kind of how it evolved. So from the cats to the dog to the bird to the rats to the things that eat the rats. And then it, I don't think that beyond the king snake, there was never a point where I was a deciding factor on the next animal that came home. They just came home.
Just showed up, huh?
Yeah.
Turned around twice. You had a new animal. I like Spike. I always was a big Spike fan.
And as I say, I was never a deciding factor after the king snake. The oldest pokes head around kitchen door and says, "Love you." So that verifies for me right there that I was never a deciding factor.
You didn't get a choice. This was happening. You were just
Yeah.
there for the ride.
Now the only deciding factor I get is to be the decision of, please, no more pets. We don't have enough space. Is and I can show you, like right now, I'm gonna lift the camera up, so it's gonna get kind of shaky. Behind me, there is an enclosure for a leopard gecko, and then to the right of that, that's the king snake, and the ball python is in my daughter's room, and there are 3
So,
geckos in your room now?
any
3
plans
geckos.
on moving into the New Orleans Zoo reptile area, or
I may have to talk to Fox and Bull and just see if they can do some boarding for me while we work out that deal with the zoo.
I'm just, it's annoyed.
Nerdisms. But yeah, we
Uh,
have, as Johnny put it, we have a rather large menagerie here. Hell, at
yes.
one point we had a chameleon.
Sorry, you have to give me a second.
Yes.
She comes in, she's like, Brother Fjord. And she's all happy. And she's, oh, also, hi, Nori.
Oh yeah. By the way, hi Nori. I love it. I love it.
I do too, which is why I'm laughing. I'm like, okay, you have to give me a second. That's fantastic.
And I will say, I never once in my life, since deciding to start streaming, ever expected to have the platform I do. So the fact that all of you are here asking questions, talking, just keeping this going is oh my god, I don't even know how
It's fantastic. It's fun, right?
to do it. It's
It's
fantastic. It's fun, and it's like it's a dream almost. It's like some sort of some sort of fugue state of how did I get here?
one day at a time, 1 foot at a time. A journey of a
Clearly,
1,000 steps begins with the first.
Confucius.
You just gotta get out there and
Yeah.
start. But
Nerd does get to celebrate extra over my name. You're right, Squirrel, because Nerd was like the full on reason
I
this name came to be.
I'm not even here giving Nerd a hard time other than her statement just made me laugh. I That's it. It's
Nori,
just fine.
you should have seen just the utter elation in Nerd's face last night when I popped into stream with the new name and said hi.
Oh,
I
I can
I've
imagine.
seen I have seen Nerd happy. I have seen Nerd giddy. And just Nerd went through every positive emotion possible inside of like 10 seconds. It was delightful to see.
Oh, that's fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic.
And Nerd's number one mod, who's not here, but Revolver Haircut, just his absolute, just immediate support of is the icing on the cake.
It was beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's amazing. Um, Zada would like to know: would you join a V Rising server if you set one up for the den?
I'm surprised I'm not in a V Rising server for the Den right now.
Uh, well, usually when it comes down to servers, I'm usually the one hosting the servers for the den, and since I don't own the game, I would never. I have no need to host.
The answer is yes, I would join. V Rising, while it frustrates me on the same level that like Dark Souls does.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always going back for more.
Cool.
So I may not be a heavily active member of the server at times. I will always be willing to be a member of the server.
There
Oh god, this
you
caffeine is going to be what gets me through the rest of the night. I'm
go.
telling you.
Swiss Squirrel, like, no, real life definitely. Oh, no. No, never mind. Never mind. Scratch that.
Ah,
Take care of that one. Don't
are we
care.
rereading?
Swiss Squirrel would like to know, you talked about your favorite meal to eat. What is your favorite thing to cook?
Mm, there is. It's no secret that I love to cook for people. At least not among my close friends. Um, I always do love to cook for people. It's just, and it doesn't come from anywhere. And there's no background for it. really outside of my father, who my dad was in the military and he always ended up on mess hall duty. Um, so he learned to cook for large groups of people.
Mhm.
And he was my introduction into cooking. So I always cook big when I cook, unless I'm cooking specific, like steak, for instance. That's your answer, by the way, squirrel. Steak. Um, because I have taken my time to learn how to cook steak, to keep it juicy without it drying out, to keep it, for lack of a more politically correct term, to keep it moist so that it
Moist.
just has a flavor that is always present from the first bite to the moment you swallow it. So steak is that answer, and steak is the one thing I learned to cook without going big. Um, I say this as I know right now we have eaten spaghetti now 2 nights in a row, and there is still enough spaghetti sauce in there to go for at least another 3 nights.
Okay, so in fairness, right? I like a good steak. I can't cook steak. I just I
I couldn't at
either
first either.
will undercook it, or I will that thing will be shoe leather because I will just.
Yeah, that's how my steak started out is shoe leather, and my mom. Ugh, I would I cannot fathom eating her steaks anymore. Shoe leather. It was like I was chewing on a piece of leather from a boot is what the memory is now
Mhm.
compared to the steaks I can make. And like I said, I took time. I learned. I watched videos. I read articles and books and just took the time to learn how to do steak, not for myself, but for Peridot. Peridot loves a good steak, one that is cooked to her exact desires. So I taught myself to cook that steak around what she loves. And yes, I'm talking about cooking
You can hear
steak.
Peridot. She's like, I'm getting hungry now. You mentioned steak. That's what I want for dinner now. Let's go. Chop chop.
I'm sure you know. I'll make it happen soon. Yes, I will cook you a juicy ribeye soon. Ribeye is her favorite cut. I'm more of a New York strip guy. She's a ribeye. It's fine because they both cook very similarly. And yeah,
Now I can cook a hamburger. I have been
hamburger.
super.
I don't know. I do okay with hamburgers. I haven't had any complaints. My son is a huge. Uh, he loves hamburgers. Like,
Right.
usually his go-to is either uh, Dairy Queen for chicken strips, and not for the chicken strips, but for the gravy that comes with the chicken strips, or a
Well,
good burger.
you have to admit though that brown gravy that Dairy Queen has with their food is it's a little addictive.
Oh yeah, it is. Oh, it's very addictive, and that's the problem. Is he has ADHD. He's got ADHD just like I do. So it's one of those. Once it becomes a safe food, it becomes a problem. But I mean, also not a problem because if you have ADHD, you know that safe foods are important to have.
Well, safe anything is important to
Um, do that right there. Yes, to the safe foods. Correct, nerd. Peridot's current safe food is sushi burritos, which I have to treat Zoda to if he's ever in my area.
have. Sushi burritos.
Yeah, you had a sushi. I kind of figured you might have when you said that. Carrie went
That
Oh, the
just
sushi burrito.
sounds
It's
a
just a
mess.
big sushi roll. It's a big messy sushi roll. That's all it is,
Yeah,
and you
but that's
eat
not
it
the
like
way
a
you're
burrito.
supposed to enjoy a sushi.
It it's niche. What can I say?
It is niche. It's just fine.
Love you too. Everybody's walking through now because groceries have been brought home.
Aha.
Um, but it's good though. Like I like okay. I like sushi burritos, not nearly as much as peridot, but it is a safe food for peridot, so it makes sense that right now she's really hooked on them. I have a problem with the way my favorite one is prepped because if done wrong, it will turn me off of it for a very long time because it has a spicy mayo. And
Mhm.
if done incorrectly, they get heavy handed with that spicy mayo, and all you're
Everyone's in
tasting is
onigiri.
mayo.
See, okay. I have yet to have a stream where dinner and food conversations don't come up and then everybody gets hungry.
I mean, uh, I'm always hungry, but the nerves are still high enough that I'm not.
It's fine. It's fine. I tell
uh,
everybody, I'm like, just relax. It's usually over way before you are ready for it to be over with.
I just looked at the time and I'm like, holy cow, how's it 8 o'clock already? But nine
Yeah.
o'clock for you.
But that's the thing, right? These things are just they're fun. You sit around, we talk, we answer a few questions, we get you know distracted on various different conversational topic pieces and talk about different things and before you know it 3 hours is gone and you're like wait where did the time go I'm not ready for this to be done with and it's like sorry that's it.
I now realize that there's going to be. I was worried about there not being enough questions. Now it's like, oh, there's going to be questions that don't get answered.
Oh no, we always get all the questions answered because eventually what'll happen is if there's a question still pouring in and we're getting close to the end, I'll turn the redeem off so they don't get redeemed
Uh,
anymore. That way people don't spend money for
you hear
no
that,
no good
everybody?
reason.
Nori's a tricksy little hobbit. He's turning off the redeem at times.
Nori is making certain that everybody gets their time in. Speaking of questions, right? Nero Rising says, "What is the most cherished memory you have of your time gaming?"
Um, cherished memory of my time gaming. Um, it's not even about my time gaming. My most cherished memory about gaming is with Gavin, my youngest. Wasn't even me gaming. It was so my kids were, YouTube kids growing up. They
Mm-hmm.
didn't. They had YouTube. We didn't have cable. We did YouTube. We did Netflix. And Gavin got hooked on a streamer. Some of you may have heard of Stampy. Stampy Longcat, I think is his name, or Stampy
Can't
Longnose, or something like that.
can't say I've heard that name
Um,
before,
he's a Minecraft streamer for a while,
but
but then did transitioned and pivoted into JRPGs, and specifically um, a JRPG that lines up with um, my love of anime. Hayao Miyazaki worked with a game development studio and produced a game called Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch.
I know that game.
Yes, and Gavin fell in love with that game. Loved to watch Stampy specifically play it. Um,
It's
and my
currently available free right now on Xbox Game Pass.
I own it in multiple variations.
Well,
um,
this was more of a anybody out there who's
yes.
interested.
Um, and he got hooked on it at a very young age. And I say hooked because he was hooked. Like there was a time where that's all we heard about from him. But the reason it is a cherished memory is that that YouTuber and that game are the very reason my son loves to read. They're the very reason he learned to read. So that game, and honestly, that YouTuber will always have a special place in my heart just because I tried so hard to get that kid into reading. I love comic books. I love reading. I love sci fi. we spent yes, right, Peridot, exactly. We spent so long trying to teach him to read and getting him engaged in reading, and it just it 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 is shows that inspiration will come from the most unexpected places, and his inspiration to learn to read and enjoy reading came from not only a video game, but watching a person play a video. And he just to this day, I if I were to meet him in real life, that man would get the biggest bear hug from me, and he would have no fucking idea why.
That's fantastic.
So yeah, that's my most cherished memory, Nero or Joshy. How you doing, Joshy Poo? I saw you come in. I meant to say hi to you. I'm sorry. And
We saw you sneak
making
in.
me
We just
yes, making me remember all all the just special things in my life. People,
Oh, you'll be all right. That's what we do here. We get in, we learn all the deep lore.
this after I said there is no deep lore. Look at me.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
I've now
Uh,
given
uh,
2.5 hours of deep.
Nero Rising 21 would like to know, what color miniskirt would you wear for an evening out with old friends?
Green. He should know that. He knows my favorite color is green. Specifically, if it was a miniskirt, it would be a green
Do
plaid
you,
miniskirt.
do you have a top to match?
Um, I don't, but I'm sure Peridot does. I'd just borrow it. It would have to be a black top. Probably
I'm just
something kind of mesh see-through with
mesh see through.
a tank top underneath. And now you're learning about the slutty Brotherford.
I am not going to remark with what instantly came to mind.
Uh-huh.
So,
In here, I thought you were saying you're not going to admit that you're committing that image to memory for later.
no. I had a couple of comments, and I'm like, no. We're no. No, that's the filter kicking in. No. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
It-
I'm afraid I was probably born without that filter.
I was born without a filter. Shale has worked very hard to install said filter. And
Um,
typically, most people are like, "Thank you."
see, I was born with the filter, and society made me say, "Fuck it." So, if anybody doesn't like the fact that I'm kind of unfiltered at times, blame the world.
No, you're fine. You are welcome to be unfiltered. I should never be allowed to say whatever comes to mind. Uh, just because it's never good and it's never safe.
Yeah, that's fair. There are many times I have opened my mouth, and there are many times I've opened my mouth and had the immediate haggard response of, "I should not have said that. I should not have said that."
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is we're going clubbing if we ever meet up. You know.
Uh,
Yeah.
I'm not much of a club goer though. Like I have no rhythm. Hey, speaking of no rhythm, have you met this lovely streamer who's interviewing me?
uh, it's actually kind of funny. That name is, yeah, that name has its own origin.
No, I think one of these days we're gonna have to have a no rhythm
That
talk Tuesday where somebody is
it's
interviewing
already been. You missed it. Our
you.
Very first Talk Tuesday was a
Fair.
joint interview with Swift Squirrel and myself,
Well,
where
that's
we
just
sat
because
down
Swift
and we
Squirrel.
shared questions back and forth for about
That's
two
just
hours.
because Swift Squirrel likes to turn everything back on everybody else when it comes to trying to make her the focal point.
Oh, we picked her brain about a lot of things. I keep telling her I want to get her in for a Real Talk Tuesday. She's been denying me, so
Give me time.
it's all right.
I'll get her in. I'll get in. And I know exactly what it's gonna take to get her to do a Talk Tuesday. 'Cause if I can get Peridot to do a Talk Tuesday with you, I'll get Squirrel to do
Uh, it's fine. It's fine. Talk Tuesdays are by volunteer. There is never a push for anybody to do this. No comment.
It will happen. Don't you worry.
It's fine.
I now have the ammo to get it to happen too.
I hear
And
threats being leveled here.
it wouldn't be. It's not so much a threat as a look. I survived one.
Why, everybody acts like these things are horrendous things. They're not. We just sit around, we talk, we laugh, we joke, we have a good time. They're not painful.
Exactly.
You have to deal with the questions being asked. And as always, you are welcome to go, yeah, I'm not answering that question. That's a little too personal.
I will admit there was one individual I was worried who would join. He has not as of yet. Who would kind of make things
awkward?
Awkward, yeah. Due to certain political leanings and the way
Bearded Waffle?
No, Bearded Waffle and I get along great. Our political leanings are almost identical. No, I was actually hoping Waffle would show up, but it's still early, and I know his 3 kiddos are still awake, and I'm pretty sure his youngest, Finn, is teething, so I imagine he's having a hell of a time right
now. Yeah, teething children are not fun. Not fun.
And it's funny, Finn, his youngest, is like he's like a tiny, hairless clone of him. It's insane.
Right? Allie would like to know, what is the delicious coffee beverage that you are currently enjoying this evening?
It is a white chocolate mocha with 3 shots of espresso.
You must have a Starbucks coffee. Yep.
Yes, I do.
I knew it. White chocolate mocha. You know, actually, I'm right there for the white chocolate. It's the only drink from that place that I can stand to stomach past.
I have a few that I enjoy, but and I blame Peridot for this one because she introduced me to the white chocolate mocha. This is the go-to. But I also enjoy like a few other of their drinks.
I do appreciate how much that every time we turn around, it's Peridot's fault for this, it's Peridot's fault for that. I imagine that if we ever get Peridot on a Talk Tuesday, we can actually hear how much it's now Rutherford's fault for everything.
Oh, I am to blame for everything wrong in her life. I will. And that is not her saying that. That is me saying that. And she'll tell you I'm wrong.
I doubt very seriously she believes that.
Oh, I know she doesn't. Hey, there's the boy. Racing. Nope.
That way, how about Ketty?
He is in fight mode. He is not coming near me.
It do be like that.
It do be like that.
As the Blue Potato Cat would say, and then go, Nori. I get in trouble an awful lot, and I'm like, I didn't do anything.
You do.
It's fine.
It comes from the beautifully innocent face you have.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of innocent face, I do appreciate your description of the Puerto Rican Jesus.
I said that, I think, to Salty, and man, did she run with it. Oh, that got filtered through the regime real quick.
They're like, we don't even know what you look like. Rutherford said he looked like Puerto Rican Jesus. I'm like, really? Really?
Look, I'm not wrong. I wasn't over
Good
exaggerating
Lord.
either. You are a handsome man, Nori. Stop it.
Puerto Rican Jesus. I I'm just,
Look, as one of the few people who was able to see the behind the scenes before your walkthrough of DreamHack, you are a handsome Puerto Rican Jesus.
well, we're actually everything gets filtered through the regime real quick. You're not wrong there, Johnny.
Oh yeah, I know it doesn't take long.
It does not take long at all. No, I've actually been in the process of trying to get things leveled out to do a regular camera stream moving forward. There's a few little
Yeah.
things that I'm trying to work out, and some things I need to take care of first, and then then we will see more Nori on cam.
I am here for it, friend. Assuming I'm home from work in time.
Well, so once your face is out there the first time, right? It doesn't matter after that.
Right.
Like, showing up at DreamHack, that was it. That was okay.
Yeah.
I'm here. That's what I look like. Good luck. Deal with it.
People know my face now, so just deal with it. Or on the opposite end, people know my face now. Now I have to deal with it. That was my end of it for me.
Oh, I don't know. You are classed as the sexiest man on the interwebs, so I think you're pretty safe.
The title I gladly share with Mr. Waggleton. I can't wait for his Talk Tuesday. I am
which is next week.
Yes.
It's back to back pure sexiness. It's all the interwebs can handle.
It is too much pressure for one guy. I have to share it with Wags because if I don't, I'm gonna burn out. I will not be able to be the sexiest man on the internet.
Miss Nerdism would like to know, what is your favorite safe food?
Oh wow, my favorite safe food. Um. Hmm. It's a local joint. Um. And if I say the name of it, it's really gonna give away where I live.
We're talking food,
But
not a place to eat.
well, it's a specific thing from there.
Well, that's you can describe
No,
it then. If you don't know the name or you don't want to say the name, describe it.
oh yeah, I need to see if this is like actually a thing. Like, looking up what they call it and seeing if it's actually a thing. Okay, so it's called a Sancho, and it is actually. I just looked it up. It is actually the name of the food. It is a flour tortilla
Mm-hmm.
stuffed with meat, cheese, sauce, sour cream, lettuce. Like it's kind of like a burrito without the beans, and but it's more meat than anything. And I will get two of those bad boys with hot sauce. I'm in heaven. I'm good to go. Yes, I do call Peridot from the line on bad days while I'm getting Sancho's. Like it will be, you will not believe the bullshit I had to put up with. Usually it starts with, you won't believe what this one employee whose name starts with A has done today, and
You won't
segue
believe
right
the
into
garbage that I had to do.
and then segue right into, I'm in line at this restaurant getting Sancho's. Almost said the name of the restaurant.
You're fine.
And there are 3 of them in town. There is one literally 4 minutes away from where I work.
Nice. Well, at least it's convenient and located convenient to you.
Yes. It's also 7 minutes away from where I live.
I used to. There was a restaurant I used to go to. This is it's been 6 years ago, 7 years ago, something like that. A little hole in the wall shop just down the road from where I used to work at. Me and a manager, a friend of mine that worked at the same location, would go there, and we would get bento boxes every day. We went there so
Box.
much that we would literally walk in, the lady would be like, yeah, go find yourself a seat, because normally they seat everybody, like they will take you to a specific seating area and seat.
Mhm.
Not only did they not bother to seat us anymore, they just told us to go find an empty table, sit down. We had the same waitress. Even if we didn't sit in their area, they would still come over and serve us specifically. We were regulars, and the only thing that we ever had to tell them was whether or not we wanted chicken or beef, uh, and that was it. And a lot of times, she would just come rolling out and then be like, here's your miso soup, um, here's your soda, and then come back and then plump down the bento boxes and wouldn't even ask us half the time which one do we want. Like, here you go, here's your food. I'm like, okay.
It's funny you say that because, and
Uh,
it's not so much a sit down for this scenario, but I have seen this happen on multiple occasions at both locations in town where Peridot gets her sushi burritos. She will pull up to the window, and the server at the window will just look at her and go, "Oh," walk away and come back with her food.
yep. Yeah, we
Both
we we
locations.
usually mess up our waitress because we'll occasionally I've taken Shale to that restaurant, and we'll get in there, and waitress is like, oh, you brought company. What do they want?
You brought company. I like that. I can't say that the girls at the
Just
taco joint that I go to, uh, well, there's one who does recognize me because 'cause I'll pull up to order, and the moment I start talking,
hmm
she'll just go, "2 Sanchos and a large Pepsi?" And I'm like, Yeah. Alright, pull around." So she hears my voice and knows, but she has worked there since they
right.
opened. So,
But it's fun when you can be a regular.
yes.
This happens to me too for bento boxes, right?
We used to have a place here in town that had great bento boxes, and then they closed.
Yeah, we would go in. They had they were these beautiful bento boxes. They'd come out. They had their portion of rice. They had it was either teriyaki chicken or teriyaki steak. Had bearded
Hey,
waffle.
we were just talking about him not that long ago.
Thank you for the follow. No, bearded, you haven't been following, but that's okay. Welcome in, welcome in. Hey, you're just fine. It Twitch may have. It is just one of those things.
But yeah,
Kind of
there
makes
was
it.
a oh,
What?
yeah, sorry. The
No,
the
no.
the restaurant that we had that had bento boxes, that's when I worked at Blue Cross Blue Shield. There was a restaurant adjacent to the office I was in that offered lunchtime bento boxes for, like it's like $8, and you get a ton of food.
Oh yeah, an atrocious amount of food. You're just like, ah. Yeah, they would like rice portions. You got a bowl of miso soup, rice portions, the chicken, seaweed salad, and
Yeah.
something else that went along with it. It was just this. It was for it was a bit of an expensive meal. It was $10 every time we went there. We would
Yeah.
go twice a week, 3 times a week. Just depends.
Yeah, when I was at Blue
Thank you
Cross, I'd
for the
go with,
sub, bearded.
actually, the friend who, got me who had the idea for me to start streaming, him and I would go on lunch and get bentos. We never really became regulars because, him and I both ended up leaving Blue Cross Blue Shield before we could become regulars over there. But I still miss those lunches, being able to go over there and get the bento boxes.
I haven't been back to that joint since I left the company where I was working at, and I do miss the food. The food was fantastic. It's difficult to find those hole in the wall Japanese restaurants. Now, luckily enough for me, just down the road from where I live at, there is um, it is the second store that they've opened. There is I used to work downtown, and they had a traditional ramen shop. Oh, fantastic! Like
We got one of those recently, and it's
huge
amazing.
bowls of food. Absolutely amazing food.
Actually, the funny story about the ramen shop we have is it's owned by the same people that have the sushi burrito place where Peridot is a regular.
Walking to Dunkin' Donuts on 6th Street in here. Hey, sweetheart, I got your coffee and donuts over.
I know exactly what Duncan he's talking about too, because it's right on his route to work.
Sheesh. uh, I have to. I got to keep in practice on those uses. Otherwise,
Yeah.
Squirrel will get a reprieve.
I was gonna say, or what? Kino will be disappointed.
No, no. Nero would like to know what is the combination in the sewers treatment pool room of Resident Evil 2?
Combination of the sewers treatment room.
What is the combination in the sewers treatment pool room of Resident Evil 2?
There's two puzzles down there. Which one are you talking about? Are you talking about the one after you fight the um, G spawn, or um, also are you talking about classic Resident Evil 2, or are you talking about the remake?
I couldn't answer any of those questions. I'm just reading the question.
No, it's that one. It's so open ended. Like classic. Okay, you talking about the chess pieces? Because it's the only one I'm remembering right now is the chess pieces. I see that question. God damn you, Waffles. The safe. Oh, I honestly do not remember. It has been a long time. The last time I played that game was probably the last time I played that game was before Village came out. And unless I'm playing it, that knowledge isn't readily accessible.
We see how you are. Tease us with all that Resident Evil goodness and then deny us at the very
I mean, I could take a guess.
end.
I could take a massive guess, and if I were to take the guess, I couldn't tell you the directions to go, but 2, 12, and 8 feel correct.
Nero would also like to know if you were a video game boss, what would be your weakness and why would it be ponies?
Because I'm a brony? I mean, fucking Pinkie Pie's the greatest. Um, I don't actually think that Nero knew that. I'm not a major brony, but goddamn Pinkie Pie's fucking amazing. That little sociopathic pony is the most amazing thing ever created. Um, honestly, it would probably be ponies because my daughter growing up was obsessed with horses.
Well, there you go. Just when you thought you knew everything there was to know about him, you find out that he's got a pony fetish.
Nay.
Threaten me with a good wine. Let's see. Allie would like to know what is an item that is on your bucket list.
We already discussed
Mm.
multiple locations to visit that would be
We
on the bucket
discussed
list.
locations to visit, but not your
Yes.
bucket list. That is an entirely different animal. Your bucket list would be the things that you want to get done before you're dead. Travel is one thing.
Yeah. Um, well, I've already completed one, so I'm not gonna say that one.
Yeah, getting
Uh,
married to Peridot doesn't count. Next bucket list.
well, okay, it wasn't specifically to Peridot, thank you. Um, it was to have a long-lasting marriage, a long-lasting loving marriage, and I so far have had that. Um, now, she may wake up tomorrow and decide she wants to kick me out the front fucking door, and that's gonna happen. But,
I don't see that.
um, I don't either. I mean, she's put up with me for this long, I can't see her not putting up with me anymore. Um, I have a few, like, materialistic ones that I would like to do. Um,
Well, share is what we're here for. Let's go. Pony up.
uh, pony up. It's funny because the materialistic one is a car. Um, I would like to own an older Aston Martin
There's
before
not.
I die.
Aston Martins are nice cars.
Um, yeah, that's on the bucket. I would love to be not just to own it, but to be able to have the income to not only afford the car, but afford the upkeep on it.
Yeah, now that's a pretty tall order.
Yeah. Well, I mean, depending. I mean, well, you and I both work in tech. I mean, it's not impossible to achieve, but like at the
Okay,
same
just
time,
because I work in tech does not mean I work in tech that makes a ton of money.
same, same. But if we, play our cards right and join the right companies, you never know.
Never know. This is true. You got to play your cards right. You got to work right. Well, you got to be able to play right with other people.
Right.
Um, I don't play well with others.
I know what you're talking about. We survived the bug hordes of the I can't remember the name of the planet now. Angel something. Angel's Venture, I think it is. We survived the
I
bug
don't know.
hordes there together. You play well, sir. You play well with others that are
Not when it comes down to programming. Chael has to listen to me gripe about that an awful lot, mostly
now.
because the things that they expect me to write code around is just ridiculousness. Um, yeah, I will fight a person over that mess.
Yeah, I say
You want me to
I
do?
can't say that I've
You want me to do what?
worked with you.
Well, that's just stupid. Here you go. Here's what you requested. My personal favorite hate about it is they'll ask for code to be written. I'll write the code, and then they'll take me to they'll go like, well, yes, now we want you to change this code because it doesn't work the way I want it to work. It needs to work this way. That's completely stupid and requires you to rewrite everything that you've just done.
That sounds familiar, actually. Very familiar.
I'm just like, you can go take a flying leap. How about that? Sounds like a perfect thing for you to go do.
Allie, that's exactly it. Doesn't play well with others unless it's for democracy.
Sirius XM vibes. I wouldn't know. I've never listened to Sirius XM radio.
Starting to make progress on this puzzle, Nori.
Yeah, getting there. It is getting there. I probably would have been a lot farther along. I had not been the only one working on the invisible black that was your logo.
Oh, and well, also we didn't know that it was going to require everybody to have the source file.
Yeah, that was a bit stupid, but that's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Let's see. Sir Bearded Waffle would like to know, why do you hate me?
Oh God, can we just list the reasons why I don't hate you? That might be a shorter list. Um, Honestly though, buddy, I can't tell you why I hate you because I don't hate you. I was actually talking earlier about our D&D sessions with He Who Must Not Be Named, um, and how that was the introduction of Ryan Carl into the world. Um, Rest in peace, Ryan Carl. Um, and like the deeper lore to that D&D time, it happened to overlap with the time where Peridot and I were separated. And if it weren't for that that long play session of D&D, um I don't know. I don't think I would have started to come out of the depression I was in. So between you and Shadow, Waffle, there's not a reason to hate either of you. Especially you, since you made those D&D sessions so much more fun just with the banter our characters would occasionally have, which happens to be very similar to the banter you and I actually have. So it works.
Good banter is just that. It is good. It is the bedrock of what makes coming back to. It's like watching streamers, right? You watch a streamer because they have good banter. You like this, they either have good banter. You like the sound of their voice because you're basically there just to listen to them talk and talk about playing a game and that sort of thing. But it's also one of those. It's fun if they're playing with other people and there's a lot of really good back and forth, so a lot of good
Yes.
interaction. Those I think are some of my favorite things to watch is paired playing um,
And
between individuals,
realistically, that
just for the banter.
that's kind of like I said, playing D&D with Waffle on stream is what kind of pushed me back into streaming, and it was because of that banter and the banter specifically he had, that developed between not just me and him, but all of us. Because there was some pretty good banter. There was also some pretty good arguments to be had. Now, the arguments that led to the falling out with our DM then were not good arguments. Well, okay, they were good arguments, but not for good reasons. There were some very choice insults lobbied from that individual that had us laughing for quite some time.
See, there you go.
Dude, our 7 days to die banter is just the best. And yeah, that is one of the insults, you fake ass nerd. Like who in their right mind thinks that's a good insult? But that's for another day.
I don't know. Somebody thinks it's a good insult because it's been leveled.
It's true. It's true.
You can't go. Who thinks that's a good insult? If it wasn't a good insult, it wouldn't have ever been said.
Ah, the reasoning behind it was just a poor choice.
Well, okay, that's a normal thing though.
Yeah,
Poor choice is
you
poor
are not
choice.
wrong. No, I just saw that piece. Where
you
did I
know,
see it?
I hear from Squirrel quite often how much she blames Sir Bearded Waffle for her dealing with you and the rest of us.
I know, I hear no end of the torment that I bring because Waffle forced me into her community, and now she's stuck with me. She can't get rid of me. I mean, I swear when I joined the voice chat with you guys last night, um, I know I heard her whisper under her breath, "Oh God, this fucking guy again."
I know, right? Right? Let's face facts. If we're not getting one of the fabulous members of the Discord up in arms over something that we have said, it's not a good night.
Right.
It's just not a good
And it's all in good fun. It's so rude.
night.
And I can hear that in her voice.
Here, I can help. I can hear it in her voice too. Watch.
Hey, so rude. So rude.
There we go. It's like she's here with Oh man.
I worked so hard to get that stupid sound clip. You have no idea.
I'm glad you did.
I gave her so much of a line on her stream to get her to hey, so rude. I'm like, thank you. And I clipped that and I'm like, thank you. And she's like, and all I heard from her was, oh God, what did I say? What did I do? Just pure panic from her.
Waffle has already gotten in on the joke for my name. I just noticed you changed your name to Brother, a long, narrow sea inlet with steep sides or cliffs created by a glacier. Yes, I did change my name. There's reasoning behind it. Got tired of doxing myself, to put it easily.
Yeah. We must run for our lives. Mad scientist. I went to school for my science degree. I studied long and hard.
There's nothing mad about his science except for maybe the fact that he doesn't have the funding to completely do it.
Okay. I had to go for a physics class. I'm going to go off on a slight little tangent just because I
By all means.
I had to go
It's
take
your
a physics
dream.
class. I first off, I am not a big fan of physics. That is the math that they do is just ridiculous. Give me a computer, I will compute your math for you all day long. Give me a computer, I'll write a program to do it, so I don't have to crunch the numbers for you. I'm just don't ask me to. I don't care. That is where I stand on physics. And the biggest problem is when I took physics, I had flat earthers in my class. Can I tell you exactly how much fun it is to go to a physics class where they're trying to teach you really hard, incomprehensible mathematical formulas for gravitational constants and these sort of things in the world, only to have flat earthers going, you're wrong. That's not how the world works. By the way, there is rock up there, so we didn't even go to the moon, because if we did, we would have crashed a rocket into the stone ceiling that is above us.
Good God. Oh, I love flat earthers. I'm sorry. They tickle me.
I'm like, wait, this can't be real. And then I have to remind myself that no, it very much so is real, because these these are probably the same spawns of stupidity that I had to deal with when I ran my own company out of Virginia fixing computers, and they were like, I don't understand why it won't copy. I hit the copy button. Well, why is the copy machine next to your desk and not plugged into the wall halfway down the hallway? By the way, that's the power cord sitting there on the floor. And no, it doesn't print an unpowered monitor that you've turned face down on there because you're trying to print a Word document.
Oh,
It's not like a little stupid. We're talking like massive, nothing between the ears.
oh man,
It
that
just
is
hurts.
painful to think about,
It just hurts.
and reminds me of how my week opened this week with my coworker. So I'm in charge of the ticketing system right now,
Right.
and I asked a coworker to handle one of the tickets because my badge won't let me into that area, but his badge will. And he's like, "Yeah, I'll take care of it. What's the issue?" And I read the ticket off to him that the monitor wasn't turning on, and he really needs to have his third monitor. So he's like, "Okay, well, I'll take a power cable. I'll take a DisplayPort cable. If it's none of those issues, I'll come back and we'll just swap out the monitor."
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, the way it boils down with our ticketing system, when we open a ticket,
Mm-hmm.
it's a fee to our agency to have that ticket out there. It's $100 fee to our overarching overlords for us to have
Right.
that ticket open. So essentially, we just paid our overlords $100 so my coworker could go to this guy's office and press a power button. His monitor wasn't on because it wasn't on.
On. Yeah. Yeah.
That is the kind of work I do now. I got out of the call center to do that. Except this time it wasn't even me, it was my coworker.
I have a saying in German which roughly translates to you only have your head so it doesn't rain into the rest of your body.
I like that. I really like that.
Thank you for the alert, Bearded.
Hey,
That is
I'll gush over you
fantastic.
anytime, baby. You know that.
Fantastic. But I think we've hit the last of our questions.
Oh.
No, excuse me. There are two more on the docket, and we'll get those ones up, and then we're gonna we'll finish up with our last couple of questions, and then but puzzle, yes, the puzzle's still there. You've got time, not much time, but there's still a few more minutes. Nero Rising would like to know which is better to leave skid marks in, boxers or briefs.
Neither. Um what, Josh, what the fuck, man? Briefs. Because briefs
Final
already
answer?
riding up that ass. Final answer, briefs.
I'm sorry,
And
Peridot.
the real answer is wash your stanky ass. I don't answer questions of a man with an unwashed ass.
Nero Rising would also like to know if I were a Make-A-Wish kid, would you be my last request?
You know it. I don't care what the request is. You got it.
Let's go. We're going to make this happen.
That's right.
That is fantastic. And then Bearded Waffle got one in just under the wire. Do you ever wonder why we are here?
Isn't that the great mystery? Why we're here? What's our purpose in this world? At least I'm hoping he's going for the red versus blue take on that.
Okay,
No,
that
man, I
was
meant why we're here in this valley.
it was a good. I enjoyed Red versus Blue. I thought they did a fantastic job on
Yes, yes,
that.
I knew it. On this flat Earth, yes. Why we're here on this flat Earth. You know, to quote a Duzakino, the world is a majority of water, and none of that water is carbonated. So one can say it truly is a flat Earth. There's your science for the day.
Mm-hmm. There is indeed your science for the day. A science fact.
Oh, look at it.
I see a squirrel.
I can hear Squirrel's disgust on that one. Because I would have never known about that comment had she not told it to me. Also, Zoda was trying to cheat. I had my Discord hidden, and he put the Resident Evil 2 combination in Discord. I'm just now seeing it, but he put it in Discord.
I have listened to Squirrel enough. I know every time she does one of those, I already know what it sounds like. I can hear the death in her voice. I can't
God,
believe
absolutely.
you just put that in my head. Ask her about shake weight sometime. At permanent residence now in her brain.
I've heard part of the story. I need to hear the full thing still.
It is permanent residence in her brain, and I am not ashamed about it.
I should hope not. I should hope not.
And one of those. Go ahead, get that one out. Try if you like. I don't know who's got it worse though, her or her cousin.
I mean, I would say her.
All I was doing was explaining to them how it is. So you know, I do that copy the copy pasta with the cousin, right?
Yeah.
So that's what it boiled down to, right? Only so when cousin pops into stream while I'm streaming, I'll actually do the copy pasta in real life, right? So it's cousin. And they're like, we don't know how he does that. I'm like, here, I'll show you how.
The shake weight.
And I showed them. They're like, it's like watching somebody with shake weights. I'm like, exactly. That's exactly what it is. It's how you do the thing. You let the shake weights do all the work. Like permanent mental image.
God, I would love to know who was the advent of creating the shake weight, because like you almost want to shake their hand for creating the
that
most
has been
lewd
a
thing ever.
meme.
And you also gotta kind of wonder if they knew.
Oh, of course they knew exactly what they were doing.
Demented.
Are you kidding me? They knew exactly what they were doing. 10 out of 10, they'd do it again.
100%.
They know exactly what they were doing. They knew what they were in for, what they were signing up for.
It is top tier trolling. The shake weight, top tier trolling.
The top tier trolling is how much that they actually got people to buy into that.
Yes.
Like to me, that was the okay. It's a stupid invention. I get it. but it was a stupid invention that sold really, really well
Mm-hmm.
for something that delivered nothing other
Right.
than
To
give guys something really fun to watch
to
in
middle-aged
the
women
gym.
and men.
Uh,
God,
that was a thing.
it was indeed.
Holy cow! But yes,
But their grip would be so insane from all the shake weighting. Josh,
oh
you're not.
yes. Squirrel is not wrong. I did. I turned on my camera so that they could see exactly what was going on. Chat
Oh
had to just.
God.
It was a Friday night. Me and her were going out to do uh, Tribes of Midgard run. And I'm like, here, we'll just take 30 seconds real quick. I turned my camera on, did the aforementioned cousin chant so they could see it. And chat was like, we can't see anything. And they're dying. Like, sorry, chat.
Chat's, we can't see anything, and Nori's like, it's by design.
I generally make a regular fool of myself.
I
And
mean,
there are times where I'm like, okay, I am going to make a fool of myself, and I'm okay with doing that. But this particular point in time, it is for a specific purpose, and only some people get to know what this moment
right.
is for.
Are you really living in today's world if you're not willing to make a fool of yourself?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. My father lives in this world, and he refuses to make a fool of himself.
Well,
Adamantly refuses.
that man needs to loosen up some. Maybe we should get him a shake weight.
Not happening. That'll never be a thing.
Yeah, to be fair, my dad was wasn't one to make a fool of himself either. But former Marine, so kind of makes sense.
My father was Navy.
Also makes sense, actually.
Career Navy. And now he just sits around and complains all the time, or tries to avoid all the extra work that my mother wants him to do. I just laugh at him. You married a woman. Don't talk to me
I
about
can
it.
see all the cursors in the puzzle, frantically trying to fit pieces together.
It's fine.
Trying
It's
to
fine.
finish
All
it.
right. So you have a final couple of questions, right?
Okay.
The first one is your long one.
Oh,
So you have to give advice to young you or new streamers coming out or something different than what you told Katie earlier.
okay.
Or it's like take as long as you need. If you were to give some helpful hints, advice, thoughts, suggestions, that sort of thing for somebody who's trying to get started on streaming, what would that be? What would that entail?
Be yourself. Don't create a character to portray, because you don't know that that's the character you want to continue portraying through this entire process. So just be yourself, be unapologetically yourself. But in being yourself, be a minorly exaggerated version of yourself. Something that can be fun. Something that you can look at and laugh. But it's still you.
Give me the link, Nero. I will sign up for that. Let's go.
Nero, my advice for being a streamer on OnlyFans would be become flexible.
Is it
And I
OnlyFans?
don't
Shouldn't you
mean
be doing that on Chatterbait?
that too. But like when I say flexible, I don't mean flexible in the idea of exiting your comfort zone. No, I mean physically flexible. Become physically flexible. The ability to stretch and contort in ways that you never expected you'd have to do before.
That's right. If you can't bend backwards in half to kiss your own posterior, you're doing it wrong.
Exactly. Bendy is useful. Exactly what Squirrel said. Be bendy, it's useful.
That is fantastic. All right, and your last question of the evening is really more of a tradition that we have around here, which is, of course, as the special guest, you get to select where this fabulous group of amazing people head out to go ahead and go check out.
Well,
So,
I was planning to go live tonight myself,
well, that's
but
fine. We
in
can tell all these amazing people that if you want to catch a real live Rutherford in action, he is going live tonight. You're welcome to do that.
there's a big butt there. I got about three. Well, aside from my own big butt, I got about 3 hours of sleep last night, and that triple espresso is not doing the trick. Um, so my
Did
stream tonight is gonna get
you
postponed
be
probably
right
until tomorrow. Um, so apologies for that, everybody. But if we're looking at places to go tonight, I do see a lovely, wonderful lady that we are gonna go see. And it is a lady that Nori knows, because it is the best
I
friend
know.
boyfriend's girlfriend.
Oh, is Blondie
Yeah,
up and running?
Blondie is up and running. So
I
I
don't
say,
have my stuff up, so I couldn't tell.
Josh, I had a monster. I had a monster at 4 o'clock,
Oh, and
and
they're doing
it
some DRG.
Blondie's doing some DRG. Looks like with probably Zam and her Josh, or his Josh. So I think it'd be a good place to send everybody. So some DRG and have that banter
That is a
between
good time.
Zam, Blondie, and Josh.
I actually
Um,
got to do some Lethal Company with that group. They're a pretty fun little group to play around with.
they are a fun group. Yeah, I've done Lethal Company with them. I've done Escape the Backrooms with them. I've also done a few other games with them, and it's just always a fun time. Um,
I'm trying to think of what the other there's a yeah, I think I've done at least Lethal Company with them.
I think I've done Phasmophobia with them and Demonologist. I think.
PRG sounds like WKRP in Cincinnati.
But yeah, I did have the monster earlier, Josh, like you were talking about, and I drank it at 4 o'clock. I felt the rush at 4:15, and the caffeine wore off by 4:45.
Yeah, the energy drinks are just horrendous like that, though. I mean, that's kind of the way they operate.
Devour was with Nori, Zoda, and Safi.
We have done some Devour, yes. We should probably schedule some more of that.
We should. Salty, you didn't miss much. But just
You
so you
missed it
know,
all. Oh, you missed some of the real. Oof, oof. He had
no,
some things to say.
there was nothing to be said. However, I will give you a quick recap. Sandy came in with the Kiss, Marry, Kill for the regime. You'll be happy to know that on both of my answers, you were the one getting kissed. You didn't die.
He was making with the smoochy faces with the salty.
The one answer was marry Sandy for the green card. If green card wasn't on the books, it was marry Safi. It took me a minute to get there, though.
Took you a
But
minute
I
to
think,
get there.
yeah. Well, just because I'm kissing you doesn't mean I'm not killing you. Keep that in mind. Because I am, as everybody seems to call me, sexiest man on the internet.
And they got their puzzle done.
I saw that. I was watching. I closed it out. I closed it out debating on if I was going to stream or not. And then I got my stream all set up, and then I'm like, you know what? Yeah, not today. So
Well,
I
Rutherford,
do
it
think
has
our
been, as always, it has been an absolute pleasure, my friend. I enjoy every bit of time we get to spend gaming, talking, goofing off, giving Squirrel a hard time. Uh, it has been lovely having you here as a guest, and we will send right over to Blondie. We will go hit Blondie up. We will go give her a ration.
I think Blondie will absolutely enjoy that. And also, Salty, I'm not sure if you noticed, my name did change. So keep an eye out for that next time you're streaming.
Yes.
I am now Brother Fjord.
Why?
Nope, that is my new name. Yep, it's gonna be the name going forward.
Yep. 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 And is who he is.
Oh man,
Uh,
I'm always candid. You should after all the nights you and I have spent together at work, you know how candid I am, man.
We are glad you guys have enjoyed every minute of this. As always, thank you all for a lovely evening. Rutherford, thank you. I am going to deafen. You're welcome to stick around or take off and go do your things as you need to do. I am going to go send this wonderful crowd of people over to see Just Blondie. As
Indeed,
always,
and
it's been a marvelous pleasure, my good friend. And thank you for
always.
taking
Thank you for
time
the
out of your
forum.
very busy schedule for tonight.
Always. I always got time for you. You know that.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. All right. I'm going to go do the things.
Alrighty.
All right.
Good
Thank you.
night, everybody.
And with that, that's right. It's the end. But don't go anywhere just yet. We're not quite done yet. No, we are just getting started with this Talk Tuesday. We are going to go and do the thing now. That's right. We're going to go right out. We're going to go say hi to Just Blondie. As is our tradition around here, we're going to go rate exactly who our guest suggested. And tonight has been Just Blondie. This has been an absolute fantastic evening spent with the Brother Fjord. I hope that you've had as much fun as I have. I hope you've learned as much as I have learned and had just as good a time. We laughed, we cried. There was tears, there was happy moments. It was touching. It was everything you could ask for a Talk Tuesday and then some. Don't forget, next week on Tuesday, we will have the other sexiest man on the internet. That's right, we're going to have Mr. Waggleton here on Talk Tuesday. So you don't want to miss out on a moment of that. Can the internet actually handle both of the sexiest men back to back in one place? I don't know, but we're going to find out together. It's great. But until next time, we're going to go say hi to Just Blondie. So, huge shout out for our new subscribers, Sandy, or not new subscribers, but our subscribers and resubs, Sandy, Zoda, Kat, and the Bearded Waffle. Thank you for the subs. Our followers, Bearded Waffle, coming back in for a new follow. You guys have been fantastic. Thank you all. And we're going to go say hi to Blondie. So the first message for all you lovely subscribers out there. The second one is for all you lovely followers out there. Grab one, copy it, spam it. Get ready, because we're going to go say hi to Just Blondie, who's currently doing some DRG. And as always, continue to be the fantastic, fabulous, and amazing people that I already know you are. And until next time, bye for now.